It's like ending the show.
Hello, hello, hello. What up, people? My name is Lewis Lee, and this is Playing in Traffic, where we all hang out and talk about broke down cars and brakes and everything else. We're live on Facebook and YouTube, and if you leave comments in the comments section, we can see them here on the screen, and we might be able to answer you if we read them. Yeah, there you go.
Right.
And please like, share, and subscribe. You know the deal. So what's going on, guys?
Yeah, we are your grassroots source for automotive information.
That's for
and
sure.
misinformation.
And, you know, it's good, Lewis, because today what we were talking about right before the show, John had an issue, and he ran it by Brian, he ran it by me. And I think what he found was all the information came back flowing the same way, which is kind of good because it's like an internal check and balance.
Yeah.
And now you bring that to the shop where the vehicle's at, and then you see where they're at. And like John is seeing, they're on the same page, which is also comforting.
Yeah, it is nice to have a community of car people to talk to at least.
They were lost in space this morning.
Yeah.
When they called me up, and they were like, well, we haven't figured it out yet, but we took it for a test drive, and we checked a couple of things, but we don't have a definite answer. So we'll keep looking around, and we'll get the master mechanic to come over here in the shop and see what he has to say. And that's when I got on the phone with you guys.
Right.
And I'm like,
What vehicle is it?
it's a 2014 Ford E250 van. It's got a slight pull to the right, just driving it. And then when you hit the brakes, it pulls hard to the right. So the first thing I thought was a frozen caliper.
Yeah.
And they said, no, that's not the case. So then I called the experts to find out what else it could be.
What did they tell you?
Brian said there was, and you too, that there's a possibility that the hose on the left side may have collapsed internally. So there's less pressure going to the left wheel, and that would make the truck pull to the right. The other thing, though, is the fact that it pulls ever so slightly when you're not on the brakes. Not a hard pull, just a drift. So that would kind of lead towards something to do with the pads.
Yeah.
Hopefully tomorrow we'll know what's going on. I told him I need that thing back by Saturday.
That's one of the most commonly misdiagnosed problem. When a vehicle pulls to a right side, people look on the right side. And what that could mean is the right side is working, the left side isn't working, and that's why it's letting it go to the right. So, you know, a good technician knows to look at both sides and eyes on the problem.
But on a constant drift when you're not on the brakes, that's going to lead you to the right.
Well, first of all, I got to tell you this. I hate the front ends on those vans. I think they're still the most caveman, archaic pieces of crap ever built.
Yep.
You know, the alignments are kind of super critical. Tire wear, tire pressure is critical. And, I mean, a slight drift wouldn't really raise my antenna too much because, to me, they're garbage. Anyway, drift.
Well, when I took it out for, I have not seen this van in my own possession in over 2 years. This was given to my employee out near Orlando.
Okay.
So he's no longer with us. So I have the van back, and I'm giving the van to my other employee out in Orlando and upgrading him from the older van that he's driving into this newer van, which is just a lot better van.
So it's safe to assume, like, no maintenance was done on this thing in 2 years.
Well, yeah. Maintenance is definitely done.
Everybody
knows where to take it if it's a problem. Call me if you got a problem, and you know where it's got to go. Because I have an account with Tires Plus. So
I just think of the guy who doesn't take the van in to have it washed. You know, it's like
no, my guys do that too.
Well, yeah, I think you got one guy who doesn't do that. One guy just like
ignores that. The newest guy, he didn't know.
Yeah.
And I told him, I says, take this thing to the car wash like every other week or so when it starts to get kind of crummy. Look, oh, okay. I didn't want to be spending money on your company card, and I'm like, dude, just do it. He's just
He's learning.
These were the rear pads on the wife's Ford. But what I was telling you about, because I had the same problem with my F350, these tabs
Too big.
and they slide into this. This goes on the caliper rail,
Right.
That's
and
the
when they get a little bit of
clip,
heat, they swell up and they won't retract. They stick there.
Yeah.
So the Ford guys were taking this and shaving it down a little bit with, i.e., like a sander.
Right.
Sure.
And they would clean these up so they have a little slide so they move around. Because I was having one set of pads. I go like 200 miles and I would have one pad completely wiped out. And they told me, oh, it's because you put aftermarket brakes in. So then I bought the Ford ones for $1 million. And then same thing, 200 miles down the road, I had one pad wiped out. And so I was in the shop and I saw the guy over with a brand new set of pads, and he's on the grinding wheel and he's, grinding on the ends. And I was like, what's going on? He goes, oh, yeah, they all do it. They all swell up with heat and they won't retract and you wipe out the brakes.
The other thing is that a lot of guys, I've caught a lot of guys doing this. Those are the grease points. That's where you have to grease the brakes.
Yeah,
and those
as you can
slides.
see, it's got the anti-seize, it's got anti-seize on it. But,
I mean, especially since you're going to grind or touch that edge off, now it's a raw metal edge. It's going to rust.
Yeah.
So even more important to grease the hell out of it,
and then a lot of times where this fits into the metal, into the piece, they swell up and they actually make a file that goes in there and it cleans out where this snaps in, so you get the big stuff out instead of with a chisel and a screwdriver and beating and banging on it.
I have a set of these flat blade diamond tip files, and that's what I use on that. I get in there with that. But, I was thinking, John, of another type of brake system, and I don't remember what vehicle uses it besides, I know some of the aftermarkets do, but the pads actually have holes in them, and a pin slides through the pads, and they get hung up. They get hung up too. Yeah, there's a bunch of
German ones do that.
I was
Some
thinking
of the
Audi.
GMs are like that.
I was definitely thinking of Audi. Yeah. Hopefully they'll get it all squared away, and they'll.
It better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Chassis John. You said you had a gauge that you can test your brake pressure with.
Yeah. I bought a set of those gauges years ago from Lamb Components out in somewhere in California.
Yeah.
It's just it's a liquid filled gauge, and I think it may be like 3/8 or 1/4 inch pipe thread.
Right.
And then Lamb has an adapter that is screwed onto that actually replaces your bleeder valve.
Right.
It's got the same kind of bottom to it, so that when it's in all the way, there's no leakage, and it can only go into the gauge. So on those, what we do is we would screw them in and then put a little bit of pressure just to force the air out that's between the caliper, bleeder screw, and the actual gauge, and then lock it by hand. You just turn it, and then when you step on the brake pedal, the gauge goes up. So we look, we look for like 800 psi or higher.
Yeah.
And then it'll show you release. It'll show it release when you take it off. It will show it go down, because, like I said, you can have a rubber hose will deteriorate in the inside.
Yeah.
And it swells up, and it'll let the pressure go, but it won't let it flow back. So then it'll hang up on the brake pad.
So good thing to have. On race car stuff though, we only use those Teflon line steel braided hoses. Those never fail. I've seen them burst. I've seen that happen once in a blue moon. I mean, you really got to work that hose for that nylon to.
It's funny when you say that, because this reminds me of like Terry talking about going to rubber body bushings on a Chevelle instead of the urethane to soften it up.
Yeah.
On my Pontiac, I have all the hoses are braided stainless hoses. I bought them from Russell.
Yeah.
And I'm running, disc drum, non-power, manual. And the pedal is firm. It is really, really, which is good. I like it.
Yeah.
But it would almost be nice. It would be a little more compliant. And I was actually thinking about swapping out to rubber hoses. to give it a little more flex and a little more pedal feel.
Yeah. Either that or just change the pedal ratio a little bit.
Well, the pedal ratio has to be set 6. I think it's 6.5 to 1 is what the pedal ratio is. I've already changed the master to change the bore size. I've already played with that once, but I mean,
but you can make the pedal a little mushier if you change the ratio a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Bring the ratio higher.
Right. Well, there's two holes in the pedal.
It'll give you a little bit. Yeah.
One's for power brake, one's for manual.
One's for power, one's for manual. Right. Exactly.
Right.
So if you got the right one. But it is firm. I know when I switched over from power brakes to manual brakes on the Firebird, it was like Fred Flintstone. I'm like, whoa, you know. But they work.
They work. I actually don't really mind it 100%. I'm just, it's one of those things. I'm on the fence. I'm not 100%. When I drive, I say, maybe I should go the other way, and then,
yeah,
and then I don't do anything about it.
What I did on Rocco's Camaro is I tested it out in the hole for manual because that motor is just so big. Yeah. There was no room other than Hydro Boost, which is like so long.
It is.
It's terrible. So I told him, I said, we're just gonna go manual, and I put it together and I bled the whole system, but I didn't like the way the pedal felt, so I pulled the pedal out and I welded the hole closed, and I re-drilled it about I don't know. Maybe a little over 1/8 of an inch higher up.
Yeah.
To increase the pedal ratio even more, which gave it just a little bit of sponginess.
Right.
It felt really good. And he was like, "Wow, this feels like power brakes." Because the first time he drove the car here, he almost put himself against the steering wheel because he wasn't wearing a seatbelt.
Right.
And he was like, "Oh, these brakes work," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's the whole idea."
Right.
So I don't know. I'm looking forward to getting back to power brakes in this thing.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Justin, what do you guys do with with a lot of the builds you do? Customers come in with weird preferences and then want to change with brakes. Because that's one of the things that's everybody thinks they know what they want until they get it, and then they find out no, they don't want it.
Yeah, we've had a few of them come in. We do a lot of Willwood stuff. We always had good luck with it. Why change what's broke? And lately, especially, I've been going to the Willwood manual 4-wheel discs. We've had a few cars with, either big cams or just something that's questionable if it's even going to run power or not. And Willwood's got their stuff figured out to where those things will stop on a dime.
Oh, yeah.
That 68 Camaro we built, that's a 4-wheel manual Willwood discs. And that one will throw you right through the windshield if you want.
Yeah,
exactly.
But we've been kind of just, the more we can simplify the system, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're great. I've spoken with their tech people quite a few times. You just tell them what you have, and they'll tell you right away. Here's the master you need. Just make sure this is your pedal ratio.
Yep.
Done deal.
I had one of those moments. I got the guy. I'm trying to remember his name. With an A. Anyway, I dealt with this guy for all the stuff I was doing, and we hashed out a whole bunch. We were on a first name basis, and a couple of years went by, and I called back, and I asked for him by name, and they said, "Who?" I said the name. Like, is he not there? No, he died. Like, what?
You lost your connect.
Oops. Okay, who's next in line? Yeah.
But it's funny how just the littlest thing like that can change such a big ripple effect or have, because we had the same problem on a 911. The pedals came from the floor up. They didn't hang from the top, so they had the floor, and there were adjustments in there. And of course, you get somebody in there, and they're like, they had a hard time about not riding the brakes because, they had their foot on the floor, and to put the pedal there, it would lay. And then, of course, they would constantly tinker with the adjustments because, they would be riding on the brakes or they would feel that little bit of play at the very beginning on that, and it would just throw everything out of whack, and thank God you had your basic adjustments or basic place to start, because just the littlest thing made a big difference on the way the brakes felt. And like I said, some people are super sensitive, and then you got some people that drive when they're sleeping and they don't really know the difference. You know,
Brian, I'll give you an example. I talked about this on the radio show a lot, and Chris he thinks I'm nuts, but he knows he's nuts too. So I tell him if I wear a new pair of shoes, my brakes feel different in the car. I can feel the difference, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like, how can you feel that? I'm like, I'm telling you, dude, I can tell when I put a different pair of shoes on. I can feel it.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys heard. Well, I don't know. It's kind of racing stuff. You ever hear auto rod controls? ARC.
Oh yeah.
They make those switch panels.
Right.
Oh, okay, yeah.
John Zizza, the inventor / owner of that corporation, passed away.
Did it?
Oh God.
Yeah. And a really good friend of mine, Rich Concato, he's taken over the company. And they're going to continue to produce their products in Englishtown, New Jersey. That's where the warehouse is.
Oh, good.
And John's a professional wirer. You give him your race car, and he wires it up.
Yeah.
With all of the right equipment and fuse panels and relays and the whole deal. The guy's like absolutely phenomenal. And he got involved with ARC, and now he's running the company. And he's going to start bringing in some new products, stuff that he's put together for his custom wiring company are now going to get sold through ARC on their website.
I deal with a guy who's out in Arizona, Tony Candela.
Okay.
This book,
mm-hmm.
and then this book. And you want to talk about inclusive information, and he'll do anything from just making a battery cable to fully rewiring a car. And the guy is you'd love it, Joe. He's top shelf. No, no shortcuts taken, and it's just. And I found out through talking to him, he's into home audio too. So we were sharing stories.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, then he sends me pictures of his home audio system. I'm like, oh Christ!
So he would be the guy that could tell you if monster cables are bullshit or not.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, he even goes as far as putting the resistance charts, resistance per inch in the book, so you can calculate wire gauge. It's all. Yeah. It's kind of like half of an electronics course and half of a mechanical course in those books.
The wiring can be complicated, and a lot of times people just think bigger is better.
Right.
And it's not.
Right.
You could oversize it and wind up just putting so much resistance in it that you're losing signal.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't see that,
And the connections, of course, connections are key. That's where they make or break, or everything is made or broken. So,
speaking of connections, Ray, got a question for you. Those new connections that they have that you stick your wire through and it has a metal thing inside. You heat it up with a heat gun and it melts down. What do you think of those?
Okay, I've actually used them. I've used them at the shop. We were talking about those. I think John we were talking about that.
Like the crimp connectors that have solder in them.
We just heat them with a heat gun. Yeah,
you just heat them up. Yeah.
I've used them at the shop for convenience because they had them there. I liked it. I liked the convenience, and I did the pull test. They didn't pull apart. I didn't do any resistance measurements or anything with them, and I couldn't give you any long-term data. I kind of felt bad about doing it. I felt like I was cheating. But I did them. I used them, and so far I have to say I have to give it an okay for now. I don't have any bad information on it. I like the way that the end sealed on the wire. Like a shrink, shrink tubing. Thought that was nice.
Resistance is something I would be suspect of on that, depending on the solder that's used.
Well, that's why I did the pull test, because I figured if the solder was weak or wasn't the right composition, it's not going to hold. And I really gave it a good yank.
But could solder introduce resistance into the connection?
No, resistance would be
depending. You know how solder is like 40-60. There's all different ratios of solder.
Yeah,
40-60. I don't know offhand which one is the best for electrical work.
Well, it depends who you talk to. 40-60 is the gold standard, and I stockpiled that stuff because you can't easily get it anymore. Now they went to lead free.
Yep.
like everything else, lead free. And I've used it. It's a lot harder to melt. It's harder to it's harder to flow. Is that lead free,
There you
Jim?
go.
I would throw that right in the garbage
Why?
because it sucks. That's why.
I got good results with it. You can't buy leaded solder anymore, though.
That's why I stockpiled it.
Okay, that's a good reason.
You can find it on the internet. You actually can find it. And one day I'll be selling it when I start selling all my stuff in retirement and I open Ray's store on Amazon. I'll probably be
There you
selling
go.
some of it off.
I gotta make sure.
Because a spool of that, a roll of that,
Bless you.
it's 031. That's electronic grade. That a roll of that will last you many years.
Yeah,
unless
I
it's
have a
solid.
roll that I bought like in the 80s.
Yeah,
Bless you.
It was one of those big ones.
right,
Oh
I
yeah.
still have it,
right.
you know. And I still have the flux paste
Oh yeah,
that I bought at the same time. And
Right.
it's so weird because the silk screen writing on the tin
Mhm.
looks like something that was from the 30s or the 40s. It's
right.
the font is like, real old, like back in the days of silent movies, old. That kind of font.
I keep a tin of that because I have
Weird.
a spool of solder that's the acid-based stuff used for plumbing when you do copper,
Right.
and that's what you got to see. The
Right.
new electronic solder is rosin core. It'll say it on it. It's actually rosin in it, so you
Yeah,
don't have to apply
that's
it
up there.
separate. But the acid core stuff isn't, and that's
Well, I'm never using solder ever again when they came out with the shark bites.
for
you'll-
plumbing.
I'll never touch a torch again.
Shark
you know-
bites work real well.
And that's something
Oh, my God.
I haven't gotten into. I used one or two. Is it the shark bite I'm thinking of? There's something that uses a special tool.
Yeah,
I know
shark
the tool-
bites.
I know there's a tool to remove the shark bite.
Yeah. There's a special
I'm sorry.
plier that pushes the metal part
Oh
in.
I'm
man!
thinking of PEX. I'm thinking of PEX,
Shh.
the plastic stuff.
Now I've
Yeah,
used
well,
PEX.
Pex is good too.
Yeah. Them shark bites, you can't beat them with a stick, man.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, 2 seconds, you slide them on, boom.
Right.
Yep.
See, I like to solder, and I had to do some. I redid the water shutoffs to the wash machine. I bought a new washer a little while ago, and I said, you know what am I doing? I should go get the shark bite. I got to go to the store, and I had the solder, had the copper, and once you know how to do it, it's like picking up a welding torch. Even if you don't do it for a couple of years, you get it right
Yeah.
back. And I like soldering. I like doing that kind of work. So, call me a dinosaur. I don't know.
Yeah, you can have it.
Yeah.
Shark bites are good. We use a lot of fittings for the reverse osmosis systems.
Uh-huh.
Is 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch, depending on the system we're doing. It's from a company called John Guest.
Uh-huh.
Unbelievable stuff this guy makes.
Hmm.
High end, strong nylon.
Right.
Really
right.
good. Those Buna O-rings inside them.
Yeah.
Stuff's phenomenal, and it's real easy to use. You
Yeah.
just push.
Right.
Done deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lewis, to get back to what you were saying with those, and I know you saw them on Instagram because they always pop up. That's
Yeah, well, when I was working on the bus at Tyler's, he gave me some. That was the first time I ever seen them.
Okay.
And I was using them. I was like, man, these things suck. I was like, they're not melting. It's taking me forever to melt one thing. But I didn't realize that his heat gun had an adjustment on the back. He goes, you got it turned up? I was like, no.
Yeah, you need a good heat gun.
So once I turned it up, man, it went, it worked nice. I was like, this is pretty slick.
I'm still in a mind where I'll take the heat shrink, cut it, throw in a wire, and take a barrel connector and solder it manually and then heat shrink over it, which is really doing the same thing, but I feel I have more control over it that way.
Mhm.
But for quickness, for ease of use, you can't beat them. I don't know.
because,
I don't know
We
about
had
all
those
ones.
years. We had the ones that Lewis was talking. We had those. I used those. We had those at the deal at the Porsche dealer,
Did
and
you?
that was it's been 20 years since I was at the dealer, and we had
Really?
those,
Wow.
and they were, like I said, it was the same thing, and even the seal. I mean, it had like a weather pack type.
Right.
Seal. So when you put it all, it was all airtight, watertight. And
So let me ask you the question that will rank it in my statute. Were they made by Roll or Worth?
Worth.
Yeah, that's it. top shelf.
Yep.
Worth stuff is phenomenal. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely
So,
great.
That's what I was looking for. I thought I had a few of them. It's probably in the my other cabinet on the other side.
Yeah.
Because I use them
have
all the time.
the right connection.
Yeah.
Right
You know,
now.
Germans and electrical stuff, it's, even Siemens, I mean, that company is phenomenal for semiconductors and anything electronic, but anything that the Germans make electronic, can't beat it. Top shelf.
Yeah.
These things are, Lewis, the ones you got and the ones we have at the shop and the ones I have outside, they're probably made in China. They look like they're made in China,
Yeah.
But again, for quick, easy work, it's a great solution.
It worked nice. Once I figured out turn the heat gun up, it was cool after that. I was like,
Yeah, a
wow,
lot of
that's
heat
pretty
guns
sick.
have an air intake that you can lessen or increase, and that increases the heat out. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. See, my gun, I got a cheap Harbor Freight one, and it don't do nothing but blow. So when I was messing with Tyler's, I'm like, oh, I didn't know it had adjustment on the back. It had numbers and everything. I was like, it was pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah, it was the metal one. The big heavy metal ones had the
big
the
red
fan
one
thing on the side.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
They
And
got
they had
one of
this
those.
little thingy on it so you could sit it on the workbench.
Right.
And it
The
would aim
flat
straight
base,
up.
Yeah. I got
Right.
one out in the tool truck.
Yeah, it's a
I don't
flat
have
pad with a little rubber thing on the bottom of it, and you
Yeah, I
can
have
actually
just the,
adjust.
I was
And then,
making
of course,
sure
you go
mine
with
don't
the classic soldering gun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Weller.
Yeah.
I bought a
have
brand
This
new one of
one,
those
this one is
last year.
actually, this one's a Radio Shack.
Oh, well, yeah. I used to have a Radio Shack one.
Yeah, this one is doesn't have a date, but this one's fairly old. This one's oldie but a goodie here.
Yeah, my Radio Shack one, I dropped it, and that Bakelite case smashed into a
And
million
that,
pieces.
that's right next to the old classic
Timing light.
Yeah,
timing
buddy.
light there, huh? Look at that. That's
What is
that's
that
a classic. That's a Buck Rogers space gun right there, dude.
Yeah.
Is that a timing light?
Yeah. That's next. That was next to my Radio Shack.
Nice.
I don't know if you saw the Radio Shack soldering iron. There we go.
That's the one I got. Yep.
Now this
I got that one
one
too.
happens to be the D550. I think this is the
same one I have.
This is the heavier duty one. This is new old stock. I think this is like the 8. Yeah, it's the 260 or 200 watt. Yeah.
The
this
one that I bought last year looks exactly like that. They didn't change the box or anything.
2-stage trigger. The whole nine
Two-stage
yards.
trigger. Yeah, it's got the little light.
Right.
Full, yep.
I
Yeah,
bought
I
a
had,
damn.
I had to do some wiring, and I'm like, all I had was the regular needle one
That's what I prefer.
that you got to plug in, and then you wait. It takes a while, It's a pain in the neck, and I'm like, I need something heavier duty.
Well,
I don't know
and
what
I
happened
happened
to
to
my
be.
Weller.
I was in Lowe's, and I was walking over to
Step up to
to
it.
the cash register,
You think.
and there was a whole display of those.
And they got you.
And I'm like, oh, I'll take that. And then they had
Impulse
solder. They had all kinds. They had clips. You know that little clip you put in a vise that holds stuff. Your third hand deal.
Right.
I was like, oh, look at this! Boom, 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 boom.
Brian,
I came
you
home
carry
with a
on
cart
your
full
truck.
of stuff.
I think Lyle makes it. I have it. It's a magnetic fingers. There's alligator clips on these magnets.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Mhm.
It's on the center stud, or you can stick them on your vise or whatever. Those
Yep.
things come in real handy because you can put them
Yep.
wherever you want them. As long as you have metal.
He had the one that was the old school one, the one with the two
Yes,
arms.
the helping hands. Yeah.
The helping
So you
right.
can
And then
smoke
I
two
had
roaches
the
at
one.
once.
What's that, Louis?
Yeah,
So you can smoke 2 roaches at once.
Yeah, right.
You got it.
Right.
Yeah. And then you had the Lyle ones had a base and then a magnetic end on
Right.
it, and like I said,
I like
they
that.
work great.
That one's really good because I like to actually you can stick them on the sides of your vise or the bench vise if you're doing something bigger and it's
Yeah.
you know.
And hold
I
that.
mean, you're not going to find metal in a car these days, but
As I get older, I'm starting to look at that stuff more frequently because you always need extra hand.
right.
I got
Extra hands
like
and-
5 different size vices, and I have them all hooked up to stuff.
extra
tell you
hands and
something.
magnifying eye glasses.
Oh yeah. I just started watching this channel on YouTube tonight. You might want to check it. Oh, that's nice. The headlight. She's called the Mccann Chick, I think is what she goes by, and she does all this like small engine repair, on lawnmowers and you name it, anything with a small engine. And she's in there pulling carburetors apart, taking them apart. She's getting her hands dirty. She's not, she's not some fluffy, just a figurehead of a woman. She's in there getting dirty. And I'm kind of liking the stuff she's doing. So there's just something to check out if you got nothing else to do. The Mccann Chick.
Mccann Chick.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Emily from Flying Sparks? They bought a RV.
Yeah.
I watched it the other day, man. I texted her. I was like, man, you guys are troopers. They drove it. They went and bought it and drove it and slept in it the same night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's an ordeal.
It was a C10. I want to say it was a 71, 72, something
72,
like
I think.
Yeah.
They got a lot
Yeah, she
going
won
on
play.
because they own a plane. They always fly
Right.
here.
The
fly
boat. They got
there,
a boat that they're always out on.
There's a
Oh,
there's a bunch of things going on there, and then
Well,
They're on a mission.
listen, John,
Yeah.
that's the same thing. Anytime it comes up in conversation, people say, "What's with those Parisis anyway?" It's the same. And I say, listen, they're just friends of mine.
exactly.
You got to ask them what the deal is. Don't ask me. They're doing well.
Hey,
How
they're
did
doing
they
what
get-
they
Don't ask
they're
me.
doing what they want to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I
No, but the
keep
question-
reading
the
how
question always
Andrew
comes-
keeps crying because he's doing the whole refurbishing of that giant trailer that they bought.
Right. Right.
And Dina, she doesn't come out and help at all.
Well, she's filming it. Yeah.
And he's
No,
like,
but that's what anybody who gets to know them for a little bit, just to kind of get an idea of what they're doing. Then the next question is, how the hell do they fund all this stuff? How do they? And that's why I say, hey, listen, that's their business. It's not mine. Ask them.
yeah.
Don't ask
Yeah.
me.
Well, I know, man.
He's
I can tell
into IT and internet media.
Andrew was he was a finance guy at the city for many years. too.
Yeah. And now he's into other stuff. you
Right.
know?
Right.
He was working on a deal. I don't know. It never happened, but it was a thing with NHRA
Mhm.
about bringing in a ridiculously strong Wi-Fi signal throughout the track.
Yeah.
That NHRA would pay a fee to his company, and everybody at the track would have super strong Wi-Fi,
5G.
be able to do stuff.
Right.
And I guess NHRA didn't want to spend any money,
Yeah.
but
Not
he had
unless they can do it themselves and get all the money for themselves.
Yeah,
he
you
had a really
can't, though.
good plan.
Yeah.
And it's terrible. When we were at the Gators 2 weeks ago, I shot just a short piece of video, and I went to upload it to Facebook,
No signal.
and I had full bars. It wasn't 5G, it was LTE, which is what Verizon is, I guess, for 3G. And I had a full signal, super strong signal. Download wise, uploading, forget about it. I tried to upload this video that was about 12 seconds or 13 seconds long, and it took 11 and a half minutes
Wow.
for
That happened to me at SEMA.
it to get up.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, when I'm at SEMA, man, it really hits me. But you got to think how many people are on the airways.
Exactly. That's the reason he wanted to do this.
Yeah.
There would have been a really strong Wi-Fi signal with pretty much unlimited bandwidth that you would be able to log into.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do.
Let's face it, he was really doing it because Dina was complaining she couldn't post Facebook Live. She was really pissed off. So
Probably.
She sent him out.
Andrew, get me a signal, damn it.
Yep. I don't know.
We were down at Nelson's car show, and we sat and talked with them for a little while. They're good people, man.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Happy go lucky.
Right.
See, hopefully they get out to race this year.
Yeah.
They're
I
working
think they're
on it.
pushing for it. They look like they are.
They changed their program around. They modified the car, and And poor Andrew is a slave to that new trailer.
Right.
We'll see what happens.
I could have loaned him the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, have you guys seen what Sam's been doing lately on his
Yeah.
this Camaro that he put together? You know, he just put a post up just tonight. I was looking at it. It's a beautiful '69 RSSS convertible, houndstooth interior, big block, the whole bit. I mean, gorgeous. His the new season's breaking, I think, April 2nd, next about a week from now. From what I hear, he's got some really, really cool stuff coming up.
Yeah, he does. He's been. Listen, when I tell you that his production company and they work, man, the whole time. You know, we were at a show and we were all going to go to dinner, and they were going to do editing. They're going to edit what they did that day,
right?
And they're like, "We'll meet up with you later on." And I'll tell you what, they're not playing.
No.
There he is, the man, the myth, and the legend.
What's going on, John?
Coyote special. I'm sorry, LS special.
One day.
Growing out hair. Look at that. Growing out that hair.
He's got that link going on, that mod squad.
Link. Right.
Come on, man.
Link Hayes. Link Hayes. And it's padded down. It's like twice as high.
Oh, jeez.
Really? Man, you should fluff it up. Look like Michael Jackson in the 70s.
Yeah, there we go. Come on.
Come on,
He
brother.
reminds me of my roommate in the Air Force. I hated that guy because he'd pat his head down to go to work, and then he'd fluff it out at night. Son of a bitch.
Adjustable hair.
That's so cool.
So what's going on, fellas?
Yeah, we just trying to be like you.
We were talking about you behind your back.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't be the first.
I usually tell them to let me in. That way I can tell them the real truth about it. I'll let you in the real dirt. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm trying to get the 67 on its wheels finally.
Yeah.
67, yeah.
It's hard when you're one-man show.
One-man show. You see the setup. You've been here, Lewis.
Yeah.
In a garage.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for Axel. 6 weeks.
Really?
From who?
Strange engineering.
I got my
We
food
just-
here.
We just ordered a shifter. 2 months.
2 months.
2 months for a
Wow.
shifter.
I think
Strange
stuff's really going to
into
get
trouble.
bad.
A lot of people have left, so they're working with a smaller crew. And I would have thought by now that Strange would have done everything in-house, but they don't. And they do their axle hardening is third party, and that company's having a big problem.
It's a lot
So
of
they're machining the blanks for everybody that needs axles, and then they're sending them out, and they're sitting at the hardening place.
Wow.
Not good, you know.
And
Everywhere's
this
like
is
that.
every industry. It's not just car parts. It's everything.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
I mean, you
You
got
know
to
what's the worst part? To think that this country, everything was great. This COVID hits, and basically this country has died.
Yeah.
Every single thing that we do, doesn't matter what it is. Name a subject, a product, or something, and there's a problem with it. But before this crap came out of China, everything was like, no problem, bro. I'll have it for you tomorrow.
Their plan worked.
Their plan worked. They completely shut down this whole country.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
other
Not the
countries
country, the
also.
world.
But
The
I only
world.
worry about me and my country. I could give a crap about what goes on.
Yeah, I know that.
outside.
But unfortunately, being a globally and we got so
Congress.
much other stuff going on, it's just wiped out. everything.
Well, remember we had a president that was America first.
Yeah, well,
Okay,
nobody
We
wanted
produced-
that.
we
Nobody
produced-
wanted that.
we produced all our own oil and natural gas, and had so much we sold it to other people because we had enough. Well, we don't have that.
Still
anymore.
sell it to other people. They just won't release it to us.
It's ridiculous.
So
So enough with the shitty president.
Well, yeah, I was going to have to step in and stop because I've been tasked with the with the sergeant of arms
There you go.
kind of thing here. We got to keep our channel kind of neutral. That goes on later on. Like we talk about that after 11.
When everybody else tunes out.
Yeah.
God damn.
So,
Right.
I'm in bed by then. Dang.
Well, if
Yeah,
you want to
we
read
will.
anything political, just find my Facebook page. I'll keep you
Yes.
informed.
I was looking at your Facebook page the other day. Quite interesting. Very interesting.
That's a good way
Right?
to put it.
Yeah.
You could say I'm a what is that? Where people who go from one end to the other,
Bipolar.
bipolar, right?
Bipolar.
You
not
can say
bipolar.
my Facebook page is bipolar.
Yeah, it's by something.
There'll be a whole boatload of political stuff, and then there's Speed Racer.
Right.
You know,
You're not in jail right now.
pictures of little dogs and things.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I saw the dogs. Right. The dogs are
Yep.
cute.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Terry-
Oh yeah.
tell us a little bit about what's popping in your garage shop.
Nah, well, y'all know about that Chevelle that I got where they cut the floorboard out, put a California floorboard in, but they didn't weld up the bottom piece. You know, like
What's the
on the
California
Chevelle it has three-
floorboard?
California
One
floorboards?
What's the California floor? I know what a California bumper is.
He went out. The owner went out and got a car because he felt that it would still he'd be able to say it was original. So he went out and bought a floorboard from California from like a rust-free car.
Oh, okay. It was just a
Yeah,
floorboard from California.
floorboard. Yeah, floorboard
Okay.
from California, but
Original OEM one.
But it says
Oh, yeah.
top 65 on it that you have to.
But the thing is like when the floorboards, they come with these three braces where they weld to the inner rockers.
Right.
Right.
He just cut them off. He just cut it out and just put the floorboard in, did some minor welding, and he left it that way.
And he didn't put the under bracing in.
He didn't put the underbracing in. So what I did was
it's
I got
like tinfoil.
yeah. So what I did was I got the underbracing, and instead of taking the underbracing because it was good metal, I just took the ends off of the aftermarket ones, welded it, fixed the inner rockers, and just welded that to the braces because the braces were fine. It wasn't. I mean, I was whacking that thing with a hammer and it wasn't even bending.
Good. That's good.
You know. So
It's
that's
crazy
what I'm
how
doing. I
you
got
can
one
bend
side
a-
done. I got to do the other side, and then I'm gonna just hit it with some rust converter and then bed line it.
Yeah. Be fine.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That
Bed
bed
liner.
liner makes the underneath of the car look awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you're
and
on
that's
mine,
why I was
right?
asking Ray, and thank you very much. Those pictures of because on the Chevelle, it's strange. I guess maybe on the GM inner rocker, it comes all the way from the back, like right in front of the rear wheel, all the way to the end of the cowl.
Yeah.
But the aftermarket, it stops right where the cowl is. So being that mine was all rotted away,
And that's a rot spot, too.
that's a rot spot, exactly. So I had to fab up a piece that's this big because I didn't know how it went. And so
Right.
Ray sent me a picture of his, and I was like, okay, now I see what I got to do. And I fabbed it up,
Yeah.
and it looks pretty good.
You know, the other thing, Terry, I found I had on the fenders on my car, the lower fenders had rust like they usually do.
Yep.
And I wanted to just buy that patch panel, which is about an 8-inch panel, and they sell it. But there's
Yep.
a brace in there that the lower
Yep.
bolt goes into. And the patch
Yep.
panels are made without that brace. I was like, so you put this on the fender, now you can't bolt it to the car. Like, what the hell use is that? And I actually had a bozo tell me, well, you could take the brace off the old fender. I'm like, you mean that whole section that rotted away that's not there anymore?
Yeah.
Now, like back in the earth, take that off, right? And put it back on the new.
Well, you know what it is? I seen somewhere it rots like in the corner, and that brace is still intact. So
Yeah,
that's probably what he was. I think that's what they were trying to go for. But you're
have,
right.
I have seen the brace where it still resembled a brace, although it was like a rusted relic of what was.
Oh
once
no,
it
it went to church. It was holy.
Yeah, I mean, I had one that was just gone. There was nothing there, you know. So what are you gonna do? So that
No,
was when we.
But they do make the braces on my Le Mans. The patch panel. It came with that inner brace.
That's nice. Yeah, mine did
It
not.
came with that.
They
inner
need
brace.
to do that with more of them.
When I bought the fender, I had to buy a right fender I bought it from Goodmark, and that of course had the brace and everything because it was complete, and it was also like $800.
No, it was that little brace is the difference between is like a $50 difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
well worth it.
No. You can't. You got to have it. Like you said on my Le Mans, that brace was just, it was gone.
Right.
It was gone. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. And still work on the 71, trying to get that going. I got too many projects. That's the problem.
Well,
Yeah,
the
but it's your
biggest problem I
business,
think with
though,
something like that, especially when space is always a constraint, we don't all work in shops like Justin. To keep everything compartmentalized and not get melded together or lost, and it's more work to find where you left off than to actually get back to work again.
That happens in the shop too.
Yeah, your shop is nice. You got some.
We're pretty fortunate, but yeah, I mean, with as many projects as we've got tore apart.
And how long have you been there, Justin? I think I probably guessed that.
I've been there a little over 4 years.
Yeah,
Nice.
great.
Cool.
You'll hopefully you'll have a nice long career there. But whatever, no matter what you do and move around or open your own place, you'll remember that place for the rest of your life with fond memories. I think.
Oh yeah,
that's a great shop.
we have fun.
Yeah.
I started out in Mom's garage.
Who didn't? Yeah.
Then I rented a oversized car garage behind a rental house.
Oh wow!
So there were people renting the house, and it was a guy I went to high school lived upstairs. I didn't know that until later on.
Really?
So I rented the garage and the driveway. Was all part of it. And then from there, I went to Kings Park. I rented a 4-car garage, and then I moved into the chicken coop around the corner.
Yeah.
There's a big chicken farm that's just down the hill from where my elementary school was. And he stopped being a chicken farm and started selling Purdue chickens. And he had all of these chicken coops. So he put up walls, divided them up, and put in, garage doors, and rented those out. And that was awesome because that's where Chassis Connection started. And
egg sandwiches.
$60 a month.
Wow.
Was the
Yeah,
rental.
too bad it took them another 40 years to sell out.
1,400 square feet for $60 a month.
And that's what's ridiculous.
Awesome. Yeah.
I was saying, too bad it took 40 years for them to finally sell out. But you look at the property that the Elwood Dairies used for Dairy Barn.
Yeah, exactly.
Huge amount of property.
He's around the corner from them. It's Mccann Chick. He's on
Huge
Hill
amount
Road.
of property.
Yeah.
They must have subdivided by now. They must have sold off. I know they kept part of it, but not all of it. That's prime land up there.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, that's big real estate.
So they built a whole bunch of houses and condos there now. My mom is complaining.
Right. Oh yeah.
Because Elwood Road's got a lot more traffic than it used to have.
Right.
Hey Ray, did you guys find a house out in North Carolina?
No, not yet. But if you find something today, you better be ready to buy it today. Although it's not going to be there tomorrow or the next day. So when we're ready to strike, it's going to be cash in hand. Boom.
There you go.
Deal.
That's it.
So I know what I want, and I have people who are keeping their eye on the stuff for me. So I'm watching.
How many
Wait
car
for the
garage?
housing bubble to crash, then you can buy it cheap.
Got to see what the market does. But
how many car garage are you looking for?
Well, I'll give you an example. I don't have a set number. My friend's wife, who's a real estate agent, just sent me a link for a house about a week ago. 16 garage spaces. There's 4 full-car garages. I was like, holy shit. I'll have to buy a couple more cars. One of them just becomes a shop. Get the welding bay, you get the parts washing bay, you get the bead blasting bay.
Hell, you get a spray booth in there.
Right.
Learn how to paint.
Yeah, right. And then a detail bay with a sloped floor with a center drain.
Right. So the stuff is out there. It's out there. And I'm hoping that house will still be around maybe because I'm hoping that many garages will be a detraction because you really got to want that. And if you don't want it, it's like, what the hell do I got these 4 buildings on my property for?
Right.
So I'm hoping that one will sell. But I found another one. They sent me another one, and there was like a multi-use where they took one of the side rooms, and it's a barbershop, a full-blown barbershop. Like, oh, that's cool. I said,
hang out at the barbershop.
You gonna cut hair?
Yeah, I'll start cutting hair, do my own thing on the side, right?
There you go. Hey, never pass $1.
No.
Reminds me of that movie, Barbershop. Is this the barbershop? Isn't this the barbershop?
You know,
That's such a great movie.
I was kicking around maybe buying a piece of land and put storage units on it. So when I come back with the bus, I can pull into my storage unit, plug up, and
right. I know what they do in the South a lot is they'll sell property and it's zoned for X amount of trailers. So, and even like supplementary land, like if you have land in front of your house, you could put trailers on there legitimately and rent them out. And a lot of people sell the land, a small piece of land, and say zone for 6 trailers. And guys will buy that plot, tell people, yeah, come drop the trailer, I'll charge you X amount a month. They get the hookup, and that's a little side business.
Yeah,
my old boss had a place in San Diego like that for his RV. They had a big ass RV thing they lived in, or went up. He lives in Walla Walla, Washington State, up there.
Right. Yeah.
And they would drive down, and they had
There's actually a place called Walla Walla.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
I thought that was just on Bugs Bunny or something.
Walla Walla, Washington.
Yeah.
And he had 3 or 4 rental houses down in San Diego. And but he had there was I don't want to use the word trailer park, but it was RV park.
Right.
And he had it had a can't remember if it was something like 16 by 24 concrete pad with the hookups, and you just pulled your RV up on there and put your mailbox out front and ran the extension cord. You know, it was
that's what
cool.
they do with these, except it's house trailers that people plop. Well, sometimes the guys will actually buy the trailers and put them down, and then they just rent out the trailer.
Yeah, well, you could have either way, but it was an RV park thing or whatever. And,
I don't know if I want to. I don't think I'd want to be a landlord like that.
Well, then
I think about a storage unit. They got a lock. They come lock their stuff up, and
my buddy
easier.
He did that in his property up in the Catskills. He bought a bunch of containers, and the shipping containers, the ones from China, they're single use. They can't go back overseas. So he'll buy them. They sell them at a good discount. I don't remember what the price was. And he bought like 12 or 16 of them, double stacked them, and then he actually divided them in half, so some of them, and just started renting them out on a piece of property he has up there.
Yeah.
It's like, there you go.
They were going for $2,000 for the 40 footers. They're like $8,000 now.
Really?
Oh yeah, they're through the roof now.
Yep.
I wanted one to put in the backyard, but it didn't go over too well.
Not the Chinese ones though. They're not that expensive, are they?
Yeah.
Are they? I thought. Ooh. So he got in. He got in the right time because I know he didn't pay that much.
Why are they single use?
I think it's the gauge of the metal. I think they probably ran them across back over the ocean a couple times and found that they fell apart. I don't know. I know it was the quality of the product.
Aren't people trying to live in those things, like stack two on top?
Yes.
Oh yeah. It's a big thing.
You wouldn't even know it's a shipping container by the way they dress them out. Phenomenal.
Terry, next time you go to Vegas, there's a whole shopping mall made out of those things.
We gotta go. We go out there.
It's by Old Town.
When I go there, I've never left outside of SEMA.
Oh man.
Oh
my God! Come on.
What, I got a car?
You didn't go down the road to where Binions is?
Nope.
Oh,
what are you afraid somebody's going to kidnap you?
You don't know what you missed. That's the Terry, right?
Man, let me tell you something. I'm there for 3 days.
Part
and
of
I'm
Vegas.
Lewis will tell you. I'm working. I'm working.
You gotta go.
You can tell me,
dude.
You can tell me the truth later. Come on, Terry.
That is a video in itself for your channel.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, then we all go then.
Fremont Street. It's a freak show.
Listen, on
no, I've been there. That was crazy.
You gotta get to SEMA so you can go to Fremont Street on Halloween night.
Boy. Yep. It's terrible.
Crazy people.
Yeah.
Man, look.
Oh boy.
There's 10,000 people in that little section, and they're all shoulder to shoulder. You're going through like this.
Yeah. See, that's not fun for me. I gotta get the hell out of there.
There's all kinds of crazy acts going on there. You know,
you got
450-pound guys walking around in a diaper.
Why do I want to
Cupid?
No.
You got to experience it at least
You got to
once.
experience it.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Look, I've seen Brian in polka dot boxer shorts. That was enough for me.
There's the topless nun.
Oh,
Topless
good.
nun.
John,
There's a lady
I'm scarred
wearing the whole
by
deal.
nuns. I'm already scarred by nuns for my whole life. I don't need to see a topless one, please. Unless
Terry,
you
we
like her habits off.
Yeah,
Terry,
but there's
we
just
gotta
like
go
a
to,
lot of crazy stuff, you know.
Carol Shelby's.
Yeah, you got to go to Shelby.
See, something like that. We get in the car, we go. I'm 100%.
Listen, when you leave there, you'll be a Ford guy. I'm telling you what, man. Don't
I
go
see
there
a
with
coyote
checkbook.
in your future. Where's that crystal ball?
Oh,
Hey, don't go with a checkbook, man, because you'd be ready to write a check for a car. I'm telling you, man. You'd be in there phenom.
Unless they got a 69 Cobra Jet in there, that's it.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Oh, yeah, they got all of that stuff.
Yep.
I will take a 70, but 69 is my year.
Yeah.
They have his original Cobra.
And I put an LS in the thing so quick.
Oh, man.
All right, that's it. Where's the gun?
You're done.
Let me get the gun.
So, John, not quite as elaborate as Vegas, but Saturday night we met a couple of friends of ours up in Huntington for dinner. We went to this what is it? The Mexican joint. Hang on. What the hell's the name of that freaking place?
Is that the one you sent me the pictures?
Taco Bell?
No, Pancho Villa's.
Pancho Villa's. Oh, I've been there.
And and it happened to be as I'm on Main Street and I see not the traffic. There was a nice second-gen Camaro next to me, light with a girl driving it. This car was sharp, gunmetal gray, beautiful.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing people all over. I'm like, it wasn't that nice for that. They were doing like a bar crawl, a St. Patty's Day bar crawl, pub crawl, all through Huntington. And we were sitting right at the street windows at the restaurant, and all night, all you just saw just people going by from old hags, our age, dressed in leather with the drinks, like, oh, come on, boys, to kids, my kids' age. Just like it was just a massive crowd of people all night. It just doing this bar crawl thing.
Huntington's a good little town, man.
I couldn't get out of there fast enough, man.
Spent a lot of time there.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian.
I dated a girl from Huntington. She said I was what was the correct word? And I agreed with her. She says geographically undesirable.
Oh, wow. You're over the bridge.
Well, you're a hick. You're upstate.
Right, you're over the bridge.
It was just a nightmare to get out there. I was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible. You gotta live in Suffolk County.
Right.
Yeah, it sucks.
Hey, Brian,
I was crossing that Throgsneck Bridge and everything like that, getting stuck in traffic.
No way.
Yeah. Get there 7 o'clock. Get there 7 o'clock. Leave at like 4. Leave my house at 4 and get there 7. No.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Anybody
Brian,
up there, we call them hicks. You guys are just too far away.
Yeah. Brian, me and the family might take a vacation, not a vacation, but a getaway down to DC. Is it worth going down there? Is anything open, or can we?
Ocean
Go to
City.
Smithsonian.
Well, a lot of them are still closed.
Are they?
Yeah, a
Go to
lot of
Ocean
them are
City.
still closed. So
They
a
gotta
lot
be
of
open
them
by
is going-
come summertime, though.
No, it's kind of funny down there still, or in DC.
It's always kind
Yeah.
of funny down there. If you ask
Funny
me.
Yeah,
how?
actually, you
Do
just
I
really,
entertain you?
we had, the cherry blossom things right now, and unfortunately with the heavy rain and the wind tonight, will probably wipe them out. But this week was the cherry blossom thing, which was really spectacular and nice, and there was a lot of stuff. But my daughter went down. My daughter, the guy she's dating, wanted to go down because he's getting ready. He's in the Space Force, and he's being he's being moved. I can't remember where they transferred him to. So they went down yesterday.
Zeta
They went
5.
down. They went down the other day to DC, and Molly said that a lot of the places were still closed, and they were a little upset. There was only a few of the Smithsonian's open and so forth. So
yeah, that's where we wanted to go see stuff like that.
They can't even keep an attraction open. I mean, that's how bad things have got.
Is the Capitol and the White House still fenced in?
Yeah.
With the riot fencing?
Yeah.
They're so worried that Americans are going to attack.
Now let's change the subject. It's only 10.
I'm just saying. There's no need for this.
It's
worried about
they're protecting our rights. Okay,
John, you sound like a Jewish mobster. There's no need for this. We can be reasonable.
Right?
Come sit at the table. Let's break bread. Come on, we're all friends here.
It's like the other night we were watching that.
Right.
We were watching the Pam and Tommy thing on Netflix, and they guys
actually watched that.
Yeah, it was so funny. But they had the two guys that had the tape went to go see this mobster dude, and he's like at a Friendlies. You know what I'm saying? And he's got this big ice cream and a bowl of cherries, and the guy's like, "I came here from like my, 5th grade birthday party," and he's got the glasses and the chain, being a mobster kind of guy at this Friendlies or something. It was pretty funny, man. I just thought we could all work. He said something very similar to that about that. So I thought that was funny.
We're all friends here.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's like, we're all friends. Something about like, I'll loan you the $50,000, but it's 50 and 30 days with 10% and 15 on this, and the guy's like
the VIG,
and it's like, dude, he goes, I gotta talk to you, and they run into the bathroom. He goes, I'm not here to talk to a loan shark. He goes, he's a producer, he's loaning you the money, you know what I'm saying? And he goes, you're not even, don't worry, if something goes wrong, he's gonna come after me, he's not even gonna come after you. And he's like, yeah, right.
See, Justin, the thing that I want you to know is, it's like, a lot of guys from out of state don't get this. This is how we talk to each other. Like, you don't have to be, at some kind of we talk to each other this way.
Just like that.
Yeah. I've had a lot of guys that'll come here and visit, and they're like, wow, you guys really do that, huh? Like, yeah, it's the way it goes.
But it was kind of funny. They were showing this scene from Baywatch, and they had the actress that was Pam, So they had this butt shot that, her running, So it was actually kind of funny because there was like 5 guys around the camera, and they're like, pull the suit down a little. Oh, move it up. We got to take another one just for good luck, And she's like looking at him like this, 3 or 4 times running up and down the beach. It was, it's high dollar stuff here, but it's funny to watch.
Sounds like you had some fun.
Yeah,
Did you ever notice on Baywatch every time she ran down the beach, it was in slow motion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but it was kind of funny watching that. So,
the things they used to get away with on TV.
Well, that was the funny part, because one time they had the bathing suit up. He goes, "Oh, we'll get flagged for that, so you got to move it down a little bit." And half her ass is showing. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of funny when you go back and watch like an old episode of Married with Children. You know what I'm saying? There's no way that would ever make it.
Right.
Or
I don't understand that. You would think that we've advanced to the point where it's like, yeah, okay, it's old comedy. Get over it.
Right.
No.
Benny Hill.
Better.
Yeah, Benny Hill.
Bring back Benny Hill. Bring back All in the Family. Bring back the Jeffersons.
Yes.
Hey, Ray,
I
finally got caught with my battery on the motorcycle. It's gone.
What happened?
Yeah, it's dead.
You don't keep it on a battery tender?
Yeah, I put it on there, but she's a goner.
What type of battery was it? Lead acid?
Yeah.
All right.
So, what do you suggest? Should I go with the gel?
Well, it depends how much money you want to spend. Yuasa still makes a really good lead acid battery.
What's the name of it? Wait a minute.
Yuasa, Y-U-A-S-A. It's the most popular Japanese battery. It's Japanese, I think.
No, I got
actually factory.
You used to have one of those somewhere.
Yeah, very popular battery. I've
I
used
think it's
it
got an
for many,
orange
many
and
years.
white label.
Yeah, I see it as red and white, but
Wait a minute, let me
see
get
how
my
you
pen
can
out
see
here.
orange.
I
Fellas, I'm
buy
usually
every
going-
time I go to the store. I
gotta wake
buy.
up early in the morning. I
Oh,
give it
man.
5. I gotta
You
give it
just
5.
got here.
Come on, Terry.
You just got here.
5.
Well,
What
you know,
did you
5 o'clock
find?
is really 5 o'clock's really 4 o'clock.
All right, Terry, we get with you. Hey,
Take
give me a
care.
call
I
this
will
week,
be in
man. We
next
gotta
week.
catch up.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
Yeah, man.
Tyler's coming over. I think the 8th.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna come over. I think him and his dad are coming down. And I said, yo, just if y'all coming here for a night, you got a room. That goes for everyone. Even you, Brian.
Man, thank you.
Yeah, but
Even
Brian,
you,
no,
son.
he put the refrigerator is locked out after like 11 at night, so there's no midnight
It's
snack.
got a time lock on it.
Oh no, because I
Like the
know that
Matrix.
guy. I know that guy right there has a bag full of Oreos, and I
Right.
am the Cookie Monster,
Yeah,
and I got my favorite dunking cup. See, look at this, Mr. Potato. Look at that. Look at that. Got the lid. I'm ready
That's
to
when
do
you're
some
serious about your cookies
serious
and milk.
dunking.
Oh,
That's
you
great.
gotta be kidding me. That's awesome.
I would invite everybody to my house too, but I only got a 2-bedroom and it's small, man. I had to put you in the bus.
right.
It's all right. I cuddle really good. Don't worry. I'll make it.
Spooner.
You and my Dalmatian.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
There you go.
All right, gentlemen.
All right.
I'll see you
See ya.
guys next
All right,
week.
bro.
Later, Terry.
Take
All
care.
right.
Later.
Bye.
Wow.
He
So,
loves-
Louis, yeah, your
love that
battery. Gel batteries are good. I was running with a lithium-ion battery for years, which was phenomenal, except I had to make it fit because it was so small. But like I said, Yuasa is like the premier brand of Japanese battery. They're phenomenal. Very good battery.
You make batteries for literally everything.
Yes.
Do you let your motorcycle sit for long periods of time?
Well, it did over the winter. I had a tender on it, but I got a heated garage too, so it wasn't cold. It just
That's kind of weird.
I can't. I don't understand why the battery would go bad if it was on a tender, unless it lost a cell or something.
yeah,
Did you do
Maybe
it's
the
like
battery
6 years old.
tender isn't spot on.
yeah, and it's like
Those-
6 years
you
old
could,
too.
You could boil a battery dry
Oh,
if
well,
that thing's not right.
Come on now, 6-year-old battery. They usually nowadays they don't hardly last 3 years.
You got your
Yeah.
money.
I
out.
got
Lucky
my
to get
money out.
one.
But I found that batteries that are kept on tenders last longer than batteries that aren't. In my,
Oh, yeah.
That's why I
have
probably got
everything on
6
battery
years.
tenders.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, give
I
up.
would do
You're
a
going to
cell
have to
test.
buy a battery.
I would do a specific gravity test on the cells, just to see if you lost a cell or if, it could be a collapsed plate. That's what happens. The plates collapse at the floor and short out. But yeah, I mean, 6 years is that's not. You shouldn't feel bad about having to get a battery after 6 years.
Yeah,
No.
that's what I was thinking.
Not at all.
I know it's expensive, but
And for some reason, some extra speakers might fall on top of the bike, so I might need a better battery anyway.
well, and probably a bigger alternator too.
Well, I did put a bigger stator in it for that reason.
Okay.
So
Soon
we're
he'll
ready.
be mounting a big 150 amp GM off the frame
Well,
with a
don't
fan
laugh.
belt.
Guys did that back even in the '60s on Harleys. They'd mount them on a panhead. They take the generator off and put a GM alternator on them. But the rotor is fixed on the bike and the stator spins. Unlike on a car, it's the opposite. But the rotor also is the matched component to that stator. So, I mean, there's limits. You can up one and have a gain, but at some point, if you're still trying to draw too much current, the unmatched components, you're going to exceed the limit of what the bike can put out.
right.
And then, you got the regulator, and then you have the rectifier, which is another component. In a car, it's easy to just upgrade and monster size the charging system. It's not so easy on a bike.
That's a
Right,
good name
right.
for a car.
What?
The rectifier.
The rectifier, yeah. Yeah.
But instead of
There you go.
RECWREK,
Oh, yeah.
rectifier.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Rectal
Novadose,
derby name.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
How many Novas did you see that on? It's like, all right, again, another Nova or Novocaine. It's like, come on,
I know.
you know. If I see another Highway Star Camaro, it's like, oh Christ.
Nova again.
Yeah,
Again.
yeah. It's funny. I'm reading these old, Carcraft from 1969.
Oh, Color Me Gone on the cover.
Yep, and they got all the old race cars in here with the cool names. I'm like, oh, that is so neat.
That's
Like,
one of my
let's see.
favorite funny cars, Color Me Gone.
Of course, the Hawaiian is in here.
I love the Hawaiian.
They just don't name them like they used to.
No.
Here's a Ford making some giddy up.
Yeah.
I can't
Oh,
see
there
it.
you go. Yeah, I see
Look
it.
at that! Look at the rear wheels on that thing.
That thing's got some extension. Woo!
It is, yeah. That's the only picture of it. They don't have a side shot. Yeah, Jungle Jim in the centerfold. with all
Yeah,
his
when he had
cars.
the Nova. Look at that.
Yep.
When funny cars still look like real cars.
Two Novas. Yeah, yeah. So
Those were the days.
this is the best. I love reading these magazines.
We have the Melrose Missile here.
Oh, I love the Melrose.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It had an actual, like a missile on the side.
Yeah.
A
And it
graphic
has the
was
flames.
a
It had the
missile.
flames. I don't know if you could see.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it had the flames over here.
Yep.
Nice.
Those were the days. Ram Chargers.
Yeah.
Had that
Yeah.
funky stripes, you know?
The candy cane pattern. Yeah.
Yeah. And what was his name? The Arnie the Farmer Beswick.
The Pontiacs, right? Had the GTO.
Yeah, the Pontiacs that looked like tigers,
Right.
orange with black stripes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when they had they had a corporate ride, you know.
Yeah.
Cars are cooler back then.
Days.
And then the
They don't
independent
do
guys
that
like
now.
Zool.
Now it's all corporate. It's like
Yeah.
cold and stark, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah. Not too often you see one that just runs that theme and got all the sponsors and
Right.
You know who stays that way is Jim Head,
Oh, okay.
because he sponsors himself.
Guy had
Yeah.
white hair when he was 18 years old.
Yes. He's got that big paving company out in California.
Right.
that's
So
what
he
I
changes the design of the car like every couple of races. He rewraps it in something else.
Wow.
that's that guy out of Oklahoma that we talked with that car. He was really proud of it. He did it all himself. You know, he's no sponsors. You know, he's got other shops that worked on the car, but no big corporate sponsors. So he did the car how he wanted.
Sure.
He's like,
That's
I'm
the
going
way
to build
it
this
should
one the way I want.
Sure.
That's cool.
Yeah, after
Yeah,
being
I
under
thought-
the thumb for so long, it's nice to get out and do what you want the way you want. You know.
Right.
And-
thought I
John,
had
that's why I
the,
keep-
Hemi on the under the
Hemi under
Hemi
glass.
on the glass. Hearst.
Yeah, I got that's on the cabinet over on the other side. I thought
Did you
I
see
had
when
one out.
they crashed that car with Jay Leno?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's
thought
terrible,
for
man. That was a
sure.
bad
I
wreck.
thought for sure somebody was going to get hurt.
Yeah, he was lucky.
When they took off, that car has no side windows,
Right.
and Leno was holding onto the drip rail.
yeah, he's
And
lucky.
I'm like, oh my god,
it's
this
a
guy's going to
testament-
lose an arm.
It's a testament to the cage in that car. You know, the safety
Yeah.
equipment.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
But that's why John,
bad
like-
roll.
He
Something
was
about the-
lucky that he tucked though,
Yeah.
you know, because the guy driving it there, I mean, he was holding onto the steering wheel,
Yeah.
but that was scary.
Yeah.
Why they did that at a short track, circle track is beyond me to begin
Yeah, I
with.
couldn't figure that out.
You know,
Well, that's
that's
why
just
even,
like that guy. Oh Jesus, who's that young guy that's down here? That's a big YouTube guy.
Which guy?
You know the guy I'm talking about. He lives down here and he's all over YouTube. Cletus,
That's what I was thinking about.
Florida.
right?
Yeah.
They bought a wheelie car that they found on the internet, and they brought it back to his place, which is a circle track, and he's got a big skid pad in the middle, and they were testing it out, and the guy stayed in it too long,
Uh-oh.
and it climbed up the bank
Yeah.
to where the ramp is, where the guys come from the pits onto the track, and it went in the air, and then it hit the fence and it flipped over.
Oh.
Wow.
Literally, they put about maybe 20 minutes of runtime on this car. They bought it. They dragged it back to Florida. They goofed around with it, and they literally wrecked it.
Right.
The first day, and Cletus said they were going to stick it into the Cletus McFarland wrecked museum. Yeah. There's a bunch of cars that they keep on the lot there that are destroyed. Unbelievable.
Ray, what was the name of that battery again?
Scary.
UASA. YUASA.
YUSA.
I just put my order in the bike shop for one for my bike. In fact, I could get you one, but it wouldn't pay to mail it to you. I could save you money on a battery, but you'd kill it in shipping.
Right. All right, spell it one more time.
YUASA.
Look in chat.
Oh, okay.
UASA.
Hey, I'm selling one of my cars. I'm talking to a guy. I got to meet him tomorrow. He says, "You wouldn't want to trade for a motorcycle, would you?" I'm like, "What kind of motorcycle?" He's got a 2006 Venture. I'm like, "No, I know a guy who made one."
Oh, yeah. 2006. That's when they changed them to a V twin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ray, what car are you selling?
I don't need another big bike like that. Got one.
I was getting on I-4 yesterday, and as I'm merging, a beautiful burnt orange with black rally stripes 70 Chevelle SS.
Nice.
With Kragers.
Beautiful.
Comes by me. So I was able to catch up to him, and then there was a little bit of traffic. We slowed down.
Here's
get his window open, and I'm like, nice.
A 70 Chevelle SS wagon.
Yeah, wagon.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that was right down the roof.
The guy yelled to me it was a full frame off resto with a big block.
Okay.
With a 4-speed.
Nice.
Big block 4-speed. I saw it was a 12 bolt when I was behind him, and he had Krega SSs on it, 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
The car was beautiful.
Yeah.
Had a beautiful black stock interior. It was awesome. Sounded great.
Nice cruiser.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
They got them on here for Amazon 160.
Yeah, that sounds about right. The one for my bike, I think, my price is like 140. Let me see. What did my buddy tell me?
Shop around, because I'm finding a lot of stuff on Amazon isn't always the lowest price.
Yeah. I've ran across that too. But it's so nice. You get it the next day.
Sometimes. I ordered some auto feeders.
Goes to show
you could have this tomorrow if you order it in the next 2 hours.
It depends who you know, because my buddy told me
it came 2 days later.
It's in a New York warehouse, and my price is $104.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Does your boy
we don't pay retail.
Yeah.
Never.
All right, guys, time for me to bail. I got to get up to 5 too. So.
All right, Jim.
Yeah. I got to jump
Amen.
Bailing.
Good night.
All right, fellas. I got to jump myself.
All right. See you, boss.
Hey,
All right, Lewis, go dream about batteries.
Yeah, man. There's always something, man.
Yeah.
Batteries and buses.
Batteries and buses. Right.
And Cadillacs.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, fellas. I'll see you next week.
All right, Lewis.
See you, man.
Stay well.
You got it.
Oh, man, yeah.
Hey, John, what was that name of your website again?
What website?
I mean, Facebook, sorry.
Oh, it's not under my name.
Oh, it's Chassis John.
No. My last name. GUE.
ZUE?
GUE.
GUE.
RR.
RR.
IE.
IE.
RO.
Zimmerman.
Oh, yeah.
Might as well be for the way people are going to bastardize it, right? What the hell?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you get it?
What?
Did you get the name?
Yeah. My wife was asking me, did I get it? And I said, yeah. And she said, with your hearing?
Justin, I just got word the new pictures of the PT Cruiser are now up on.
I saw that.
Awesome.
But then
Thanks.
Justin just sent me some new ones, and I sent them to the web guy, and he says they're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Oh,
I
well,
saw
cool.
that this
Thanks, man.
afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing too.
No
yeah, I was
problem.
looking at that and like the
It
website
was up
hadn't been
this
updated.
afternoon.
Yeah, the website didn't have an updated picture, so it's like, yeah, I see what it looks like now. It's close.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for the share.
Sure. Whenever we can do it, that's what we do.
That's gonna be a fun ride.
Yeah, and like I said, I hope you get to test drive it because that's going to be crazy.
Oh,
Might
Heidi
have to make
just
it happen.
sent me a friend request.
Who did?
Heidi.
Heidi.
Yeah.
From Outlaw.
From Outlaw.
Oh, I'm thinking. Yeah. Okay. You know, I don't know many Heidis. There's a Heidi and a Heidi Hamlin who worked for Left Field Productions that I worked with on a show a couple of years, and she just popped up back on my LinkedIn page. Like, wow, she's still around. So I'm thinking Heidi. I'm like, how does he know Heidi Hamlin? But
Heidi ho.
it's possible. You could. You're in the TV world too. You could have known her.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did she work for Discovery at all?
Yes.
I might have run into her.
They did. It was a bunch of her and a bunch of people based out of Brooklyn, and it was funny because they were all obviously younger than us.
Yeah.
So they were none of them had a car. So they were all running on subways and trains and buses and carried all the gear. And I'm like, Jesus, you guys work awful hard for this. You know?
All of my Discovery people were all based out of Pennsylvania, but located in Vegas. So, a couple from Pennsylvania, because that's where Nancy Glass Productions is.
Okay.
So, yeah, there was none of the New York crew. It was all Pennsylvania transplanted to Vegas only because it was easier for them to just be Vegas based.
Right.
Because the show was, ran for a few years.
Yeah.
So.
Justin, you need a show in your shop. That'll ruin everything.
There's a show, right? Because then they're going to want you to do drama.
Right. Can you throw that wrench?
We painted the car purple, but the customer decided he wants it in white.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't
And
sell
we've
this thing.
got 4 days before the Chicago Auto Show.
Yep. Or we're gonna lose the shop.
Remember when Danny Coca did that? He paid the customer swore they wanted it was an Impala 61 Impala, and the guy wanted it like hot pink for his girlfriend or wife or something, and he was trying to talk him out of it, but he says, no, this is what she wants. So they sprayed it hot pink, and then the guy said the same thing. No, now we broke up. She left me. I can't have the car in pink. It's got to be black, and I need it by like the end of the week. And so, of course, Danny goes, listen, guys, I know, but we got to redo this car. And they,
I hate that kind of drama.
Yeah, the made up drama. I mean, there's stuff that goes on when you're building a car, but
oh yeah. Well, like how many times do you see customers just changing their minds on the build on things they want to do? John, I'm sure in yours you probably didn't see it as bad because a race car is pretty much.
No. What my problem is you get going on it, and then they come in and they're like, "Oh, can we do this? Can we do that? Can we do this? Can we do that?" And then you give them the final bill, and they're like, "Why is it $43,000 more than the quote you gave me?
Right.
You made me do this. You made me do that. You made me do this. You made me do that."
Right.
we get a lot of that.
Yeah. See, I can see Justin with you going through that more than like John would have, because a custom car is wide open to interpretation or tastes or trends.
Right. Yeah. We see it sometimes. When it comes down to paint, that's the big thing. It's, picking colors, and some of them are really tough to pick colors for. People go back and forth. I want this, and then completely off the wall, something different.
Yeah, see, with paint, I was the ear that listened and maybe a couple of suggestions, but I had a guy who was a designer, and I would just hand off the customer to the design guy, and then he would work with them, and he'd come up with drawings, and they would say, "Oh yeah, that's the one I want."
Nice.
And then they would do T-shirt design and the whole 9 yards. Johnny was out of that deal.
That's
So
smart.
we would build the car, fully assemble the car, except for wiring. Take the car completely apart, put it on a chassis dolly, and ship it off to the paint shop.
Yeah, that's
Then when
smart.
it came back, it went into the clean area, and then we would do full assembly, and I would do all the plumbing and the wiring and the fire up. So
Yeah, we don't
done.
see a lot of the changing minds as much as we do the snowballing.
Yeah.
Something
yeah.
comes in.
Then a guy watches another episode of Kindig Show and says, "Hey, I saw this really cool interior thing that I want. Like baseball stitching and glove leather. Can we do that?" Like, yeah, sure.
Sure,
another
if you
10
got the
grand?
money.
Yep,
All right.
Yep.
that's it.
Yeah, I learned the hard way. When they come in and they want this extra stuff, you make them pay for it on the spot.
Yeah.
Okay, look, here's an addendum. It's going to cost you another $15,000. You got to pay it up front.
It's like Dan Short at the end. We say, "Here's your bill." It's like all 30 pages, but let's go to the last one.
Yeah.
Bottom line, you owe me.
Well, that's where our boss and our shop manager stuff, they're really good at getting with people and say, okay, well, we did this and this. Here's where you're at. Or,
Do they have people? Do they have it structured like with a down payment and they pay off per month a certain amount of money?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart. That's kind of how the tool world is structured. Too bad not everybody can cash in on that deal. Brian, I was just telling a buddy when we went to dinner. My buddy TJ, he's a body guy, and he's dealt with all the tool companies, and I was telling him about your Harbor Freight technique on Sundays. He goes, "What the hell's he going to Harbor Freight for?" I'm like, "That's what I asked him." I said, and until he told me that's where he finds all the guys that can't buy from Macco or Snap-on or Mac anymore. They always end up back at Harbor Freight. And Brian stands wait. He thought that was the greatest. He was laughing his ass off. He goes, "Oh, dude, that is so great." I'm like, "Yeah, well, you got to go where they're at, right?"
Oh yeah.
Gotta hunt down the money.
Right.
It's a bounty. They ain't gonna get no more credit until they pay their bill, and they still need tools. We used to have a really big Sears down here in White Oak.
Oh,
and that was the same thing. I'd go right by Sears and sit in the parking lot, and sure enough, man, they'd be walking out, and I'd step out of the old Super Duty, and the look on their face was priceless. Busted.
Brian the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, but I'm sure none of them are carrying enough cash to pay you off. So,
well,
you just put.
You'd be surprised.
Okay.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
And they, especially even if they said, "Well, yeah, I'll take your credit card right there," and I had my credit card reader in the truck.
Yeah.
Just swipe it.
I'll tell you what, give me the bag of tools and receipts. I'm going to go return those and get some money for that.
Oh man.
Yeah, those were the good old days.
Yeah. Hey, the question came up is, now Lowe's is selling Craftsman tools.
Yeah.
So the question came up, and I didn't know the answer. Back in the day, you could go to any Sears store and bring a broken Craftsman tool in and get a replacement.
Not
Is
anymore.
Lowe's under that guarantee?
You had to show a receipt.
Ah, okay. All right. So there's no more free ride on Craftsman tools.
And the only other thing I could tell you, like if you walk in with a uniform from a dealer or a gas station, or you just look like you've been working in work on cars, if you get, it depends on who you get, they'll give you a hard time because they'll say they're home use, not professional use, and they'll try to get out of it and so forth.
And that's not the way they were sold back then.
No,
yeah, I know that, but
not.
Unfortunately, that's when you send in the wife with it, and
Yeah.
they're not
You
afraid
bring
to
a receipt. Oh yeah, I broke my 1/2-inch, breaker bar that I bought in 1978.
Yeah.
You gotta keep that receipt laying
Yeah,
around.
you got that receipt somewhere, right?
Right.
Or you wear your Sergio Tachinis and your Valentis and you wear your Jordache pinstripe jeans, and you look nice,
Because we have
gray shoes.
Actually, we have one company, and not to go in too deep, but if you don't save the original box, they will not warranty.
Jeez.
Wow.
So it makes it difficult because when you tell these guys, you got to save the box, you got to save this, you got to, and they bring it back to you 2 weeks later, all mangled up and been finger fucked to death. Then you're saying, well, where's the box? They don't have it. And you're like, dude, this is the stuff that we need to make it work. And
I know you say that all the time, and I still have a hard time understanding how people can destroy tools in that short of a period of time. It's just beyond my imagination how you can be so barbaric.
Unfortunately, after learning this, I can tell within really a week or 2 weeks how this is going to end if you're going to be repoing or whatever, because when these guys think that it's got the name on it, whoever it is, it doesn't matter, Matco, Snap-on, Craft, the name that has that warranty, they will use that thing and beat it to with no respect. And then, like I said, they're not even, half the time they're not even going to pay for it because they know it's going to get you're going to be repoing it, and it is destroyed.
So what kind of a thought process does a guy have about his career and his future if that's how he treats his tools? Like, I know they're going to get repossessed. So
because unfortunately they know they can roll into the next shop or the next area, and there's going to be a guy in there, a tool guy, that's going to, will sell him the stuff. That's like, I had one guy for forever. I mean, I dealt with this guy on and off, and he would take the stuff that he bought, and he's been making minimal payments. And as soon as he lost his job or moved on, because he was basically, he would get a job during the wintertime. So he's indoors. And then, like I said, during the summer, he'd be working at
Ralph's
landscaping or a construction type thing because he's outside. But I looked in this guy's history, and over the 15 years, I sold this guy 9 half-inch impact guns.
Wow.
And I was like, when I saw him, I said, "Hey, what's up?" And he's like, "Hey, man, I need an impact. Another one?" Because as soon as he rolled out and he would go to the pawn shop, I found him in the pawn shop. I go down there, and that's how I didn't have to fight with the guy, because when you tell him that they still owe money on it and it's not his property, it's my property, and then you got to go file a police report and get the whole 9 yards and to get your stuff back.
Wow.
Jesus.
But these guys don't care. A lot of them.
Back in the 70s, a friend of mine used to work on his own cars when I was X-ray tech, and he broke a Craftsman wrench. He said, I had to break it to get a nut loose, break it by putting about a 6-foot cheater pipe on it. And he said, he snapped it, went into the Sears store, and the guy said, gave him a replacement. And as he's leaving, he said, how long was the cheater pipe? And my friend said 6 foot, and he said, okay, I was just curious what it took to break this one.
Just for the record.
That doesn't happen anymore.
No, now you got to buy one of those cool wrench extenders from Brian, like I did.
Yeah.
Years and years ago, I haven't
used it yet
on the side of the road, a half-inch Craftsman, bar.
Yeah.
But the spring-loaded ball that's in there that makes it go click, 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 the spring was bad, so it was limp.
Right.
And I took it to the Sears place up the block, and they handed me another one.
Yeah.
So I wound up with a beautiful half-inch drive extension, for free, because I took the one that I found in the street. I just found it by the curb. It obviously fell off of somebody's truck.
Yeah. Well, somebody threw it off the truck because it didn't work anymore.
I don't know. I just
Yeah.
said, "Oh, look at this."
Yeah.
Picked it up. It was not in usable condition. I brought it to Sears and came back with a brand new one.
That's great.
Hey,
Still
those
have it.
days are long gone.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
know.
you
Tell me
can't
about
get
it.
anything. It's hard enough to get something replaced.
Well, let me tell you something. Have you looked at those Craftsman boxes Lowe's is selling?
I have not. No,
They're so cheap.
really.
Oh my God! You open up the drawer, and the front of the drawer is like all flimsy.
Ew.
It's real thin material.
But a few years ago, they were making some nice.
And you know what's
quality
really weird though?
toolboxes.
The price wise, they haven't
Uh-huh.
really gone up since like the 80s. They're a little bit more expensive, but they're not. You know what I'm saying? They're like right
Right.
along the line of somebody buying like a box out of Chinaland.
You know, funny story. I was at my buddy's transmission shop yesterday in town here, and let me do this. I'm just playing with this fucking camera. And he was telling me, we're standing in the office, and all of a sudden you hear this noise, bang. He's like, "Excuse me." Goes back in the shop, and you hear him yelling and screaming, and he comes back. These fucking guys. He's got this guy. He's Jamaican. He goes, and the guy uses one of these tool things. It's, I said, he rolls it around. I'm like, it's a tool cart. He goes, yeah, it's a big one. He goes, but he's got shit hanging off the sides. It looks like a hot dog cart in the city. He goes, he hangs everything off it, and he rolls it around, and it falls over. He goes, and I keep telling him, why don't you like put a box in the shop that stays still and then use this thing between? He goes, for him, it's like his religion. This thing is like, it's like a parade float. I was like, well, I think he's got it overloaded.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know what's with the guy because you can't talk sense into him.
Hey, we did it all our life that way. Why change?
I guess.
Yeah.
I never did. I still don't have a tool cart.
No, I don't have a tool cart either.
I think one of the best ones I saw is a Matco, and Clay had done a thing on it about a year or so ago, where the thing is like 3 feet deep. Brian, it was a square cube, but it had to be like a 3 foot deep drawer. And he opened the top drawer that was loaded, and this thing was still stable. Talk about build quality, man. That was woof. Nice.
Yeah, we have. I mean, there's some good ones. We had one batch that you had to watch when you rolled it because it would fall over on you.
Really?
And
really,
this guy has one of those, I think.
Yeah, that wasn't too good, but
yeah,
those
especially when your coffee's on top of it.
Yeah, talk about. I had
and yeah, Entenmann's donut.
And you grab that off the floor. You eat that thing off the. You don't throw that out.
Got the 2-second rule.
Yeah, that's right. Shop or no shop.
Yeah.
Floor spice is very nice.
That's right. That's right.
That was a great movie.
What movie is that?
Now I'm trying to think of the name of the movie. Oh my God!
Justin,
it was about like all the people that worked at a place that was just like Fridays.
Oh.
It was a comedy, and it was
Clerks.
No, it wasn't Clerks.
Okay. Well, that was a movie that was out in '90.
Yeah. No, this was like think of Fridays,
and
it's a movie about the people that work there.
Right.
And one of the cooks is Puerto Rican guy. He's a comedian. He's hilariously funny. Dark hair. He was one of the cooks on the line, and he goes to flip over a steak with the tongs, and it slips and it falls on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And he grabs it and he goes, "Floor spice is very nice." Puts it back on the grill. When he picked it up, there was like all kinds of little stuff in it and hair. He was like, just put it right back. Unbelievable. It was.
What was that? Waiting?
Man, it might be waiting.
Somebody just typed up waiting. Just Rob.
Yeah. I think that's the name of the movie. Yeah,
Waiting. That doesn't seem to fit.
WAITING. Yeah.
Wow.
It's funny.
I never heard of it.
Yeah. There was some pretty good adult scenes in that movie too. They kept whipping their stuff out, flashing the waitresses. It was pretty crazy. It was a funny movie. Yeah, Waiting. That's the one. I couldn't think of the name.
Wow.
Look it up.
Now, yeah, I will. Switching gears back to supply chain, I had a my
chain is broken.
My Craftsman snowblower. When I was using it a couple months ago, it's a big 8.5 horsepower dual stage monster. It doesn't get used a lot, so it's over 12, 14 years old, but it's like brand new because it doesn't get used. So there's sometimes 2-3 years I don't use it. So I was putting some berm down in front of the house, and all of a sudden I noticed under the one cover, like where the primer bulb is, there were flames coming out of there. So it's like, you can't see it, it's all burnt. So I get the fire extinguisher, put it out, and now I'm making a parts list of what I got to replace. I need a gas tank because the nipple into the tank melted. I need the choke shaft. I need the primer bulb. I need the cutoff switch. So I go looking on the parts places. The freaking plastic gas tank is $95. I'm like, what? And this stuff, like the chokes are $13. The bulbs. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck that. I took the melted nipple off the gas tank. I hacksawed it off. I cleaned it. I reamed it, and I took a metal fitting with a 90-degree, and JB welded that in there. There's your $94. and then I stripped this 2-stroke machine I'm throwing out. I stripped out for the primer bulb and the a couple of the small parts. I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna spend.
We have a Maytag refrigerator, and the drawer cheese, the lid for the cheese drawer broke, and $94 for that plastic lid. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
We have an LG fridge and 3 drawers, three small drawers and 1 big one for cold cuts. But one of the small ones, the lettuce crisper, the front panel of it broke off, and there was just plastic, little barbs. I'm like, all right. So I go online, and it was like, again, it was like $60 or $70. I sat for a year. I sat with that thing on my desk, and my wife asked me, we ever going to get a drawer? I'm like, the drawer is in there. I'm like, hey, we're going to get one with a front. I'm like, I don't know, about $70. I said, they put a piece of plywood on it. She goes, what are we, the freaking, like, what are we, like the Clampets? You can have a piece of wood. And I finally broke down and bought the damn thing. I was like, but it hurt. It hurt.
Yeah. It's crazy. Damn it. Yeah, they have, and then like one of the pins for the pivot point had broke on it. And of course, I'm trying to find it because I'd get my plastic welder out and weld it back on if I could find it. Right. Those things are only like $13 for the rails, and I'm like, and it's like twice as long, 3 times more complicated, and more shit on it, and it's only $13. But that goddamn lid is $100,
Right.
So
Ridiculous.
the wife said the same thing. She said, "Are we ever going to fix this?"
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah. I said the same thing.
I should take a piece of cardboard and cut it out, like make a template. And...
I was gonna take a piece of plywood, like 1/4-inch ply, and I was gonna like paint it white and stick it on. I figured, so I'll spend like 3 hours of fabricating a piece of wood to fit where it shouldn't fit instead of just spending the money. Like I said, I finally broke down and bought it.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm thinking about getting. Of course, if plexiglass wasn't $1 million, I'd get some plexiglass and make a new lid for it. So, because that's what it is. It's got a white border and it's got a plexiglass insert so you can see inside.
Right.
And I was like, man, if the plexiglass wasn't $1 million, because being COVID safe with your invisible wall.
Yeah, there's a company, an industry that made out
took
real
off.
well.
That skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I went down to where the hell did we go? Well, we were in Davis Monther, and we were at one of the restaurants, and there were plexiglass shields all along the front of the bar, and you had them
Oh, yeah.
separating each person sitting. You had them separating. My God, they made a bunch of money off of that, and that's just one bar.
Pop
Right.
Star, I was just telling John today, I almost got bounced out of the eye doctor's office because I had to go, and just have my, to get my eyes checked and for my glasses, reading glasses. And about an hour before the appointment, I got a text. And the first words I saw were mandatory mask and COVID. I was like, fuck this, I'm not going. And then I read the text and it said mandatory mask wearing is it's mandatory if you have COVID or a COVID positive. If you're not, I said, okay, I'm not. Good. I don't need a mask. So I go in there and I notice everybody's wearing, and there's all females in this office. Everybody's wearing a mask, plexiglass everywhere, and like no one's saying nothing. So I'm like, okay, fine. So the girl takes me into the back. She says, oh, sorry, sir, but could you put a mask on? I'm like, why? She goes, well, it's like the policy. I'm like, well, I got a text that says unless I'm COVID positive, I don't need a mask, and I'm not COVID positive. I said, you want to prove that? I'm like, where are we going here? She goes, oh, well, we've all really had enough of this. I'm like, you don't know how much I've had enough of this. I said, you really don't. So they put me in a timeout, maybe sit for like 20 minutes before they talk to me again. And they were watching me like, what's this guy gonna do? I keep telling my wife, I said, it's angry old white guy syndrome. It's like, I'm just like pissed. It's like, I don't want to take it out on this girl, because she's just doing what they tell her. But it's like, well, God, have, at least have some structure here. Are we doing this or are we not doing it?
Yeah. Every doctor's office you walk into, they're all wearing masks.
Yeah.
My doctor up here requires 2 masks.
2?
Wow.
California.
No, it's just him, as far as I know. But oh Lord, and I had all the stupid shots because I knew with our business we're going to be being around a bunch of people that are all terrified.
Right. Oh yeah.
Oh, and one of the events we had to prove we had our shots before they let us sell.
So how did you do that?
Did you tell them? Did you ever hear the HIPAA laws, asshole?
Or a negative test in 48 hours.
Or a negative test in 48 hours. We
you
just
shouldn't
put
have
it on
to
the
prove any of that.
we just put it on the iPhone and hey, look, it's a $3,000, $4,000 show. And we haven't had it in a while. I'm jumping through the hoops, but I'm not jumping too far.
Yeah, it's hard to turn down the money. I mean, it's your business.
Yes.
So, yeah,
Because that's where we make our money.
Sure.
Is doing these shows, and unfortunately, whoever's putting on the show has the rules.
It's a shame that there's literally thousands of Nazis still living in this country.
Yeah.
Oh, telling you what to do.
You underestimate the number, John.
They've been waiting to come back out again for what, 50 years, 60 years? They've been waiting to just come back. And it started in the school system.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's some of the worst. And then the medical profession, number 2.
And the thing behind it is, like my wife said, what did we do before we had all this shit and the shots and that? Wash your hands. Don't sneeze on people. Don't touch your face. Stay away from people. Hey,
I do
we
all of
enjoyed that.
I
did that for years.
You catch a virus, you make chicken soup, you sweat it out, you let your body build the antibodies and immunity so you don't catch it the next time, and then you move about your day and you go back to work. That's
a great excuse because I like chicken soup.
Oh, my wife just made me a batch. I woke up on Saturday morning and I was like dizzy. I was dizzy, like almost nauseous dizzy.
Oh, you must have had the new one.
What new one?
The new variant?
The new variant.
I don't know. I'll tell you what happened. This happened to me.
Causes dizziness. That's one of the symptoms.
But this happened years ago. Where I tracked it. It was when the seasons changed. Like just when we come into spring, I would wake up and be a little dizzy, and I'd be okay during the day. But if I had to work on a car and get under the car and move my head, I'd feel it again a little bit. This was pretty bad. I had it for like 2 days.
That's your inner ear is having
Well-
trouble adjusting to the pressure difference of the weather.
The problem is it's in my sinuses. I have
Yeah.
a partially deviated septum normally. My nose is always half clogged,
There you
and
go.
that's where the pressure is. Even though I don't feel
Well, you're from
clogged,
New York.
yeah,
That's it.
Okay.
all right,
You're healed.
you're healed. No, I'm affected. So my allergist had given me some medication to help dry it out. So now I've been taking that like every day instead of every 3 days, and it went away. You know,
Couple of lines every day, you'll be clear.
yeah, there you go. Right.
Yeah.
I know a
Yeah,
guy.
you're New York. It's okay.
I know a guy.
Right.
No problem.
That's what we do.
My neighbor across the street gets deliveries like every day of God knows
Right.
what he's getting over there.
You know, Jimmy Bag of Donuts, he shows up.
I know a guy.
Be like that one episode on Saturday Night Saturday Night Live when John Belushi was eating the powdered donut out instead of, and he's like taking it and rubbing it down because he had he was sniffing. The cocaine, and he's like got powdered donuts and he's like rubbing it down. Man, those were the good old days, man.
Not anymore.
That was when that show was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what they're predicting for the next go around, but finally in California, we're not required to wear a mask in
I
public now.
They
heard
dropped
that.
it here too.
They
Yeah.
dropped it down a bit. And our favorite restaurant, it was nice to see our waiters and waitresses with their face there. Few of them I didn't
Yeah.
recognize because I hadn't seen their face in a couple of years.
And they deserve to be able to have that kind of freedom, but
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
you know, we all
here-
know the reason that certain states are dropping these mandates is because there's an election coming.
Right.
Yeah, well, there's an election coming here, but they haven't dropped it at our place for
You know, it's
indoor.
funny.
You know,
I
you
just
know the
looked
way
up-
they work. A little bit of goodwill is
Right.
going to mean votes.
It's a carrot and stick. I just looked on my calendar this morning, and it was a year ago that we were in that mandatory lockdown and quarantine, and it was only like 2 weeks. But this was the first day that me and my wife, my daughter, we went to Jones Beach and we walked on the boardwalk. And I remember everybody was wearing masks and gloves, and like everybody was walking around everybody. It's like we're on a freaking boardwalk at Jones freaking Beach,
Yeah.
and everybody's like walking around, serpentining around everybody. I was like, I said, it felt good to be out of the house, but this is berserk. This is
We
bizarro.
worked right through that whole shutdown.
Yeah, you guys did. Yeah, we didn't.
It was awesome to drive. There was
Yeah.
nobody on the highway.
I will say that. And gas was cheap too.
Yeah, gas was cheap. You'd be on the highway. You know, I had to go down to like Fort Myers. I'd be running 90, 95 miles an hour. The cops weren't even hiding.
Yeah.
They weren't even around.
Wow.
Just go. The highway is yours. Those were the
Well,
days.
like I said, around here, a few of my buddies that are up in the police department thing, they didn't, like I said, they didn't do anything because they couldn't afford having a cop get sick and bring it into the
Station.
You know, Brian, it really just occurred to me now, like a tool guy, if there was a tool truck guy who was like a COVID fanatic, like how do you keep that truck clean? You have to wipe down everything.
We had a few guys that
how do you do that?
We had a few guys that never went out, or they didn't let anybody in the truck.
I mean, let's just put everything behind glass.
We had a few guys that had some health issues, and actually, like I said,
the truck every half hour with Lysol.
And like I said, during the flu season, even before COVID, I sprayed the truck down in between stops just because you'd have all kinds of people in the back of the truck and they're hacking and coughing and farting and spitting and doing everything in the truck that they possibly can. But we had a few guys that were high risk guys or felt endangered, and they wouldn't let anybody on the truck, and that was them. So, and
crazy. Huh.
I'll not sneeze on anybody, and I won't do anything. But damn it, I'm going to play with the tools.
Well, yeah, that's what you're on. That's what you're on the damn truck for.
Yes.
Pick it up, feel it, play with it, touch it. It's the beauty of being on a tool truck.
All those tools,
Sure is.
just calling your name.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
That they do.
place. I remember I brought my younger daughter up on the truck for the first time, and she goes, "Wow!" She goes, "I see what you mean." She goes, "I see what you say," because like everything is just nice and shiny, and there's all the chrome and the nice colors. And she goes, "Yeah, I see what you're talking about on here." I'm like, "Yeah."
I was always amazed on every tool truck I've ever been on how the ceiling
Right.
is utilized, and
Yes.
a lot of them have like those boards with the stretchy cord
Yeah.
going in and out.
Little bungees, right?
Stick stuff there.
Right.
Every square inch is something, And I'm
Wires
like,
and
wow, that's
ratchets.
really cool.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
very cool.
And I would have loved to had the money to bought a bunch of it, but
Yeah.
over
Man,
the
if your
years-
talent, charms, and good looks, you got it. Don't worry, Papa Squirrel. We'll set you
Right.
up. It's the easy payments from here on out.
I've
It's
had
easy.
some easy payment plans. One of them was when I borrowed money when I was in the Air Force. And I borrowed at one of those chip-off places off the base. Oh, God. I figured out what I had to pay back. I never borrowed money.
Speaking of
again
that,
like
we had an equity line of credit that we were using when my daughter was in college. And I said, you know what? Let's pay this off. We're going to pay it off, because we're going to, leaving the job and all. I said, we're going to go in debt free. So I go to the bank. We had to pay off like, I don't know, it's like 45 grand. Take the money. I said, here, we're paying this. Done. He says, okay, do you want to close the account? And I'm like, well, yeah, why not? He goes, okay, well, that's going to be another like $795. Like, I got to give you another $800 to close the account. It's the filing fee Nassau County charges to close. I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like, leave it open. Like,
Yeah.
Hey,
They could always,
Hey, got you.
dip back into it.
I paid you the money I owed, and I got to pay you $800 for you to give me a piece of paper saying it's satisfied. Get the
That's
fuck
Nassau
out of here.
for you.
I mean, I'll have to do it. It's New York State, and that was one of those little things they stuck in there when no one was looking, because
Oh, yeah.
it's
yeah.
only going to affect some of the people, some of the time, not all of the people, all of the time.
Right. They do
And,
that at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I mean, if once I sell the house and move, I'll have to do it, because it's like having an open title on your car. You have to have that letter of satisfaction.
Yeah.
So I'll have to have that eventually, but I just couldn't do it now. I'm like, no,
Ridiculous.
piss me off.
So I got my new system up and running. I hope tomorrow's running credit cards go smoothly.
Oh,
But I do have a app that's Maco, and if you
Oh,
put
so
my
I can
phone,
I can put your phone number in now?
Yeah, you fill out the info. You put my phone number in,
I'm going right now.
and it will.
I got the
and
app
then
on my phone.
I have to. I have a training thing to
Welcome,
kind of
Ray.
help me walk me through this, but
See, it says complete registration. Here we go. Distributor phone number. Your distributor's phone number is required to connect. Okay, so you want
301
301, right?
219
219 dash
7875.
7875.
No,
Now you're gonna
7875.
7875. 219 7875. Right. Next. We'll
Now
see
your
if they
phone's
got
gonna
you in
ring
their
off the
system.
hook. We're calling about the warranty on your vehicle.
Is this you? Yeah, there's my number. Is this your distributor, Brian McKinney?
Yeah.
Hey, Mac. Yes, it is. Beautiful.
Nice.
Now I can see what's on the truck. Ah, cool.
Give me 2 of these, 3 of those, 4 of those. Put a couple of these in the box.
So
And those
then,
donuts. I want those donuts too, Brian.
no, I don't share those.
Come on, help a brother out, will you? Catalog, search by, browse. Beautiful, nice. Gifts and apparel. Matco Plus. What's Matco Plus?
Come on, Thomas.
That's our
What a
holster.
shocker.
That's our holsters and mace and.
Don't you sell little shockers to like the S&M clubs? Like
Yeah.
the
and,
one type of thing, you know?
We had Yeti stuff and
Coats lifts. DeSantis gun holster. Look at that.
Yeah,
You got one for my guns?
and gun bags.
DeSantis holster
gun
inside
bags.
heat. So how do you know what gun the holster fits?
You have to click on it, and it tells you the guns. It tells you what it's fitting.
There's a lot of holsters here.
There's
That holster named after my governor?
Yeah, they're all DeSantis. Yes.
Yeah, right.
It's a good brand. Overview. Detail.
Very nice.
In the waistband. Right. IWB. Glock 43. Okay. Yeah, there should be an easy way to search. You shouldn't have to open every one just to see if it fits your gun.
Well, maybe put it in the search bar what you're looking for.
Yeah, Mace brand. Look at that.
And we just started carrying gunk products.
Rob Stuck, my buddy Rob, over in Indian Trail, North Carolina.
Yep.
It's
So
Radiator Specialty Company.
So that's kind of I'll be interested. And I think the Firehouse Coffee's in there too, if we still carry it.
Oh, right, the coffee. Okay, cool. That's
Yeah,
good.
there's a lot of stuff.
Wow, Brian finally broke through the third wall here, and he registered.
Well, I want to tell you something. I finally got another phone call, and at the end of the month, our old system is supposedly being turned off.
So basically, you waited till the ship was sinking until you got on board.
And they told me that I was one of the last.
You probably was the last.
His feet got wet getting off the boat.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
There were less. There's only a few of us that were still on 2.0.
Yeah, 3.
So how do I see your inventory on your truck?
Well, that
it's just the way distributor approval.
Well, I can't do it right now because I'm on the computer. But I have to go in and I have to link you in. I had to go through and do a few things. Now everything on mine's not turned up yet because today was the first day.
All right.
So and then
we'll take small steps.
Baby steps.
Right.
So hopefully, I get the. I'm looking forward to the training part because then that's where I build my deals, and then I can whatever I want to sell if it's not in the flyer. If I want to do something different or special,
right, gotcha.
Then that way it will come out to everybody that's linked in with me, so you would see that.
Are you gonna be able to do like push notifications to send people notifications and stuff like that?
Right. Then that way you'll get the deal, and then also Macco will also send you deals.
They do already. I get the emails all the time.
Right, but if you do it through but going through me, you would get that price. And it's not advertised if they're running a special or whatever and so forth. So
this is gonna be I'm acting like I'm really happy about this, but I'm gonna be cursing you because that's all I need is like give me an incentive to want to buy more stuff. Like,
Is your guy on 3.0 yet? Do you know, or has he said anything?
He didn't stop in this week, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll have to ask him. We saw the other guy this week. That was it.
Because like I said, there was only a few of us, or there's not that many left. And I don't know if he's ever talked to you about the app or
he never has. I'll have to ask
Some
him.
guys don't like it. I mean,
let me ask you, Brian. The last guys in this group, are they all around the same age? Maybe.
Yeah. There's Chris. I don't know if you've ever seen. He's a younger guy, and he gets his tomorrow. I mean, his is, and he's a young guy, but all the stuff that went on, and of course he hangs out with some of the older guys. He kind of been sitting back,
Justin, how old is your
steep
Macro
reluctance
guy,
to
approximately?
change.
He's probably, I don't know, mid-40s.
Yeah.
All right, so that's not that old.
And some guys. I mean, there's a lot to it on the backside, and not to get in it, bore you guys, but like I said, that a lot of guys didn't like to change.
I mean, listen, I know the Snap-on guy I was using when I used to see him. He was my age, and he's like cell phone challenged sometimes. So he's another one who, yeah. It's
so
hard to
the
believe,
best way I can explain to this, it's kind of like, and of course I know you guys know how to drive a stick shift, but just to take in general terms, it's like you pulled in a car that had an automatic in it, and then you come out and it's stick shift, and you've never driven one. You could do it, but it just takes a little bit of time, because they kind of like everything is. It does the same thing. It's just everything's in a little different spot. So you're after 20 years of muscle memory of just clicking F11 and F12 and do this and do that. Those numbers don't mean shit to this new system.
They took you from DOS and put you right into Windows.
Yeah, to a point.
Well, hell, talking about things, I just traded in my flip phone about a month ago. Okay.
No, you got to keep those flip phones. They're burners. They can't trace you with them.
Hey, well, I got one, but I finally got a.
There you go.
Come on, was it a?
When you want to send a text message, you got to go.
Well, when I go off the grid, you got to hit the key 4 times. Yeah.
Until what was it? I had my old phone. Where is that? It was an Android 4 or whatever, and that don't work no more. So
we'll all be using jitterbugs soon. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Get it from the we'll get it through the AARP.
That's pretty old there. That's
okay.
AARP's been bugging me for years. I won't join them because they're very left-leaning company.
They are, but they do have some really good advice. Like they'll put out financial advice or they'll put out buying advice. They, as a group, it's like the NRA. They have so much power as a block. So I use it for that. I use it to my advantage. Well,
I get discounts with food and things like that.
Yeah,
so
I haven't been doing that yet. Yeah, I can. I got the card.
So maybe I should join up. They send me letters every month.
Yep.
You need
to
join.
Card carrying member right here.
Yep.
You need to join up with us. And I'm like, no, you're like those crazy Scientologists. No.
I will tell you this. I've been a member for, I don't know, over 10 years. They don't really bug you with anything. I mean, yeah, you got a few mailings if you just toss it, but they're not intrusive. And like I said, I found the benefits of being with them, were positive for me. So I said, okay. If they weren't, I would just say, screw it. But like I said, once I get to the point of saying, hey, can I get my discount for my dinner? Then I'll really be loving it. But
between them and AAA, they just completely load me up with junk mail.
Yeah.
AAA wants me back. And I'm like, why?
Right.
Every vehicle I have has some sort of dealer installed, towing and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't need you. I really don't need you.
Right.
Well, see, you have newer vehicles.
I will get it for the Firebirds. I'll join up. So if the Firebirds need to get towed somewhere, I can just call and tell them to send a flatbed.
Well, that's why I use, Haggerty gives you, I think,
miles
or 25 miles free. But I signed up for the extra for the 125-mile plan.
Yeah.
And it doesn't only carry my Haggerty cars; it's good on any of the cars in the house.
That's right. I forgot that the specialty insurance is going to have that also.
So yeah, I got it through Haggerty.
Yeah.
And I've used it. I have used it. They did bend the tie rod on my Fiat, the idiots. I told them when the guy had to hook the car the clutch cable broke on the way to work one day on a Saturday. So I called them up. They said the flatbed. And I told the guy, listen, don't hook this car by the front end. It's like, grab the chassis, grab the lower control arms, Oh, dude, don't worry. I've been doing this a long time. I know. I said, yeah, I know. I've been doing it a long time too. I know. And I fixed the repairs. I fixed the stuff that you guys. And of course, yeah, he hooked the tie rod in, bent it.
Oh God.
So took a torch and heated it up and bent it back. Like, okay, it's done. Knuckleheads. That's why I was talking to you, John. I still haven't done it. I want to weld on some tabs on the Pontiac that I could use for chaining
Yeah.
it, hooking it if I ever had to.
Gotta have that.
I mean, the other thing is that my friend's son, who transported that car many times back and forth to the shop, he showed me the purpose of all those weird holes in the chassis. It's
Right.
for that knuckle thing they have on the chain that goes in and turns.
Yes.
I'm like, holy
Yeah.
shit, I never knew it. I said, is that what that's for? It's like, yeah, that's what that's for.
I,
I'm like,
I sell those chains.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah. Those things
Phenomenal.
work good.
Yeah,
You just gotta know how to do it.
right. Well, you see it once, and it's kind of now it's easy.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
but it's
have
nothing
your,
cooler than having those big J hooks in your hand, man. It's like
Right?
hook and book, man, hook and book.
Yeah. Used to hook those
When
things
I-
over the axle.
Well, I was gonna say I can't tell you how many cars I worked on where a guy would hook it over the axle and crush the brake line.
Yep.
It's like, ugh.
Yep.
Okay,
Well,
add that to the list.
When I was working at a gas station, I was, I don't know, 16, 15 years old or whatever. And the owner said, you gotta go with Jim. And you had to go repo this car because this guy hasn't paid, it was down in D.C. And so Jim was a character because he was like Barney Rubble, kind of like, no neck, but he would smoke Pall Malls, and he had them so packed that the ashes never broke off.
Wow.
So he would sit there and talk to you,
That's
and
good.
the whole time the cigarette is bouncing around with the ashes. I would literally sit there like with my hand, like I want to catch him, So we get in the tow truck, and this is an old, F-150 or whatever pickup truck, old boom type. And we're driving down, and he's going through the gears, and he looks over. Of course, the whole time, this cigarette's bouncing around, and he goes, "You ever hooked up a car?" And I said, "No." And he hands me the J hook.
He had it in the cab?
Yeah, he had it in the cab.
Around his neck.
And he goes, "I want to drop you off. You run back there and you just take that hook and throw it up and pull on it. And whatever, because we don't have time. We don't have time. And then you just hook it on the arm and we'll go down the street and then we'll hook the car up right." So I'm like,
you were in a
whatever,
good
dude.
section.
Yeah. So we get down there and we're slowing down. And I'm like waiting for him to stop. He doesn't even stop. He just starts slowing down. And I'm like, I got the door like open. I said, "Are you going to stop?" And he pushes me out. So I got this J hook and this, 6-foot chain. I run back to the car and I throw the thing up and I just pull it right through the radiator and everything, And I hook it onto the boom of the truck, and Jim takes off. I mean, my ass, I'm standing in the middle of the street.
You're standing there.
And I'm like, holy shit. And I'm like running, Jim. And I'm like running along. He slows down and I'm like, had to jump in the truck. I said, "Why didn't you stop?" He goes, "Man, we're in DC. That guy could shoot us or something." I'm like, "Get the hell out of here." Man, we drive down the road and we stopped, and then he, hooked up the tow truck, but I put that hook right through the radiator and everything, dude.
Oh.
Man, it was crazy.
Oh man.
And those hooks have a flat end. Those aren't pointed.
Yeah.
Good shot.
So, and then a couple years later,
The hell with the idea.
we were at the other station, and I was working nights. I was working nights, and I get this phone call from the owner, and he's like, "Open the bay door! Open the bay door!" And I'm like, "What's going on?" He said,
bay's open.
"Man, open the bay doors! Open the bay doors!"
Open the
So
bay
I go
door
out,
out.
open the bay door up, and he had
was on
repoed
tonight.
this 78 Trans Am. And they're dragging it. They had the wheels kicked because the guy had the wheels turned. So the tow truck's one way, the car's the other way. They're dragging it down, and he turns around in the lot, and they go to back it up. Well, the front flarings and everything from the Trans Am, there was a little bump, and the lift tears everything off of this car. I mean, everything is torn off this thing.
It's all urethane.
Yeah, so he slams the door down, and he's like, if this guy comes up here, call the cops, or tell him to pay me my money. And I didn't really think much of it. Well, of course, the guy drives off. 30 seconds later, man, this guy is a gorilla. I mean, this guy is tearing everything up out front. I mean, he's picking the trash cans up and throwing them, and those big oil racks that had all the oil. These were oil cans. These weren't the plastic jugs.
Yeah.
And he's throwing the stuff, and he's kicking the trash cans. And I'm like locked in the gas station. I'm like, dude, it's time for me to leave, and I can't go out there.
Yeah.
So I told him he had to come back in the morning to pay his bill, or I'm going to call the cops. And so, of course, he leaves. I had to go out there and clean the whole front up because it was just, everything was kicked over. The tire rack was pushed over. I mean, it was a mess.
Wow.
So, of course, does the guy come up during the day? No, he's got to come up, after hours.
The next night. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm standing there, and Frank, the other guy, the other day manager thing, he goes, hey, this guy paid. He's coming to get his car. And I'm like, okay, well, when is he coming? He says he'll be here at 7 o'clock or whatever. I'm like, great. Everybody's gone.
He owed him for repairs?
Yeah, owed him for repairs.
Okay.
So I said, well, what about, all the flarings? They're all busted off, He's like,
oh, well.
F him. He should have paid his fucking bill, And I'm like, okay. I said, well, what do you want to do with them? He said, hands me a roll of duct tape.
Nice.
So it was, like I said, we had this silver duct tape on this black Trans Am,
Great.
Oh,
and
that
it was
looks great.
Like, oh, God. Put it outside.
At least these days they make black duct tape. So.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you can get it in a lot of colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was crazy, man. Those were crazy, crazy times.
ISC racer tape.
Yeah.
They've got
DC is a
lot of flavors.
Wonderful place because I had to go pick a friend of mine up in downtown DC, and it was midnight, and I had to drive down there by myself. And I told Tom, I said, if anybody looks like they're going to approach this car or anything, I'm going to floor it. I had a little Fairmont station wagon, 6-car. I'm going to run every goddamn red light in this town until the cops stop me. And then I'm going to say, get me out of here. Because there was a guy that got shot in his car a week before sitting at a red light.
That's happening everywhere now.
I'm sure he owes somebody money, but I didn't want to take a chance.
No.
Because when you're the only white boy in this whole area.
That was when we used to, the Porsche Training Center was up there in Mawa, what was that?
Mawa.
Yeah. And so it was funny because Rich had gone up the week before, and I was going the next week. And he's like, oh, hey, here's the shortcut so you don't have to take the turnpike all the way up, because they paid for the tolls, but if you like I said, if you got around that was extra beer money, because
Would he take you like through New Brunswick?
Well, it was South Orange.
Oh God.
So, well, I got off at the wrong exit. So I'm in Elizabethtown, New Jersey.
Yeah.
And I'm driving, and I'm like, I can't find it. And this is like 2 a.m.
Back in the days when you had to use a map, right?
Yeah,
Right.
This is like 2 a.m. I'm in the 5.0. I'm in the GT, and I'm rolling around, and it's very dark and very, very not right for a white boy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh boy.
So I'm driving along, and I could tell up the road there was a cop car. You know, so I had flashed my lights, I think, but I had turned. I was following the turnpike in the neighborhood. You know, I could see it through the trees or the line. You know, but I was on the wrong side of the road or headed the wrong way. So this cop comes down and pulls me over, and of course he's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Man, I am lost." And he said, "No shit." He said, a white guy at 2 a.m.
in a 5.0.
in a 5.0 in Elizabeth, New Jersey, you're in the wrong neighborhood. And I was like, "Look, dude,
looking for a street race. Told me to go to Mexico.
Man, I have to get back on the turnpike." And he's like, I said, "How do I get back on?" He goes, "Well, just go on down here, and there's 2 trees. And there's a little service road, and it'll put you right back on the turnpike." He said, "Man, you're in the wrong neighborhood. You got to get out of here." And I said, "No problem." So, of course, I jump back down on the turnpike, and I'm hitting it because I'm also afraid now, because it's getting late, real late, that I'm going to lose my hotel at the place, because I was supposed to check in before midnight, and this is like 2 a.m. now, you know?
In.
So I go cruising down there, and I go to get off the turnpike. Well, I don't have a ticket anymore.
Oh.
So I pull up, and the guy goes, "Ticket?" And I said, "I don't have one." He goes, "Well, how the hell did you get on the turnpike?" And I said, "Well, I had gotten off, and then I had this problem, and I got back on through this little service road." And the guy goes, "Pull it on over here, buddy."
Great.
So, needless to say, after about 45 more minutes talking to the state boy from the turnpike department, he said, "Okay, well, you can go." And I said, "All right." I said, "Cool." He goes, "Well, you got to pay the fine." Well, it was like double whatever it was, you know.
They charge you for the whole turnpike.
Well, they double it, because it was normally $20, so it was like $42 now.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So of course I submitted all the paperwork. Of course I get called into the office. How come your paperwork's more than what it should be? And how come I said, "Well, I told them what I did. You know, I had a problem." They said, "Yeah, so much trying to steal money from the company to have extra beer money." You know what I'm saying? I tell you, man.
Knew.
Wow.
You weren't the first.
That was crazy up there. But
funny stuff.
Mahwah, New Jersey.
Yep, right up there. And then we went through, what was that, to get into New York, was that the Lincoln Tunnel?
Yeah, it is a Lincoln Tunnel. There's a
Lincoln and Holland are both in Manhattan.
Yeah.
I thought it was the Lincoln Tunnel.
Usually to go to Mahwah, you take the GW Bridge. It puts you right over.
Yeah.
Right there.
North.
So I was real good friends with the instructors, and he had one guy that was Italian dude that was at Jaguar. So he goes, Jaguar, and we went over to his mom and dad's, and I walked in there, and his grandmother said, "Oh, a real eater, come sit." And had been cooking all day.
Down.
There you go.
And it was every type of spaghetti,
That's
sauce.
all right. We put a little more
Every
water in the
noodle that
sauce.
there was. Every time I took a bite, she put another spoon on my plate. And I was like, I'm okay. Oh, eat.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh
Yeah,
my
that's
God.
it.
Manja, eat, yes.
And then said, "Ma, you got a knife? I got an antler from a deer stuck in the grill."
Hey, it's a sin. It's a sin. You can't leave that. Come on.
Yeah, it was funny. So then we got done eating, and then it was Monday night, and we went down to some bar to watch Monday Night Football. And they had these dirty water dogs.
Yeah.
This big. I mean, this thing was huge. It was a steel drum, and they had all these hot dogs floating in it. You know, in the
Sabrettes.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. They said, you want a dog? I said, dude, we just ate 700 pounds of pasta, and now you want me to eat a hot dog?
Of course I want a hot
They
dog.
fucking piled that shit on.
Two of them on
Yeah,
there.
you gotta have a dog.
I want
Dirty water
relish and
dogs are
mustard
the
and
best.
sauerkraut. Come on.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
man! And then they had this, like the sauerkraut or whatever.
Yeah.
They had sauerkraut, and they had these it was like horse trough, just full of shit that you could put on this thing, man. God, I ate so much that night, dude. I thought I was
That's
on
it.
blow
Then you
up.
go outside. You got the guy with the cart with the big giant pretzels.
Pretzels. That's
Yeah.
the smell of those pretzels. is
Smell
like
those burning
crack.
pretzels.
And then it was
That's
like,
crack
this was
to
like,
me. Ugh.
then there was like, they were like, don't look, don't look, don't look. I was like, what do you mean, look at what? There's like some dude, like Tony Soprano, pulled up in his fucking Cadillac, you know? And he got out, and there was like 9 other guys all walking around, and I was like, dude, am I going to make it home? You know, because I kind of stuck out, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
Surprised you didn't move.
yeah.
Oh, what are you doing?
Right. We'll get you a couple chains and
That's it.
we'll make you fit right
I had
in.
to wear
Yeah.
the polyester jumpsuit or something, running suit.
They used to wear those leisure suits.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that
People
was-
out here on the West Coast wouldn't believe what you're talking about.
Stands a belt
Yeah,
slap.
right.
They just
Now-
don't understand it.
Right? Then it was leisure suits, and then it was Fila.
Yeah.
Everybody had those
Those were-
Filas and the Adidas.
Members only.
Members only
Members, yeah.
jackets. Yeah.
That was
All of that.
I had a lot of fun. That was a great time out there.
You know who you got to look up? You want to laugh? Go on YouTube and look for a guy named Brooklyn Kuzo.
Brooklyn
Cuzo. C-U-Z-O.
Brooklyn Kuzo, yeah. He's hilarious. He lives in the world of disco,
Oh, wow.
and he's always talking about his shoes.
Yeah.
These special Italian shoes.
Sergio Tacchini's.
Unbelievable. This guy's hilarious.
Yeah.
Did you guys
Very,
see
very
that?
funny.
Did you guys see that video where that dude drove through the tornado?
No.
Yeah, the truck
Yeah.
flipped over, and then
Yeah.
it flipped back.
I didn't
Yeah,
see
they just found that guy. They just found him. They've been looking for him.
And he drove off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
drove
drove
off.
away.
Really?
A tornado went through where he was and rolled it was a Chevrolet, what was it, like a C10?
Silverado.
Silverado, yeah.
Yeah.
And they
was
were just showing on the
amazing.
news here that they found the guy, and but they were showing the close up of the truck just being. It's like looks like an egg. It looked like an egg right now. You know, it's kind of
Yeah.
rolled. I mean, it had rolled over.
I just saw a
Unreal.
commercial for the new Silverado, the electric version.
With the 4-wheel steer.
Now, imagine the batteries you got to put in a truck. You know, it's not a
Yeah.
Prius; it's a full-size truck. But right, they brought quad steer back, and my buddy at work had a Silverado back. I don't know what year it was, if it was maybe in early 2000s, and it had quad steer, and he wouldn't trade it in because they did away with it. And I swear to God, we were in a parking lot, and it was like they planted a stripper pole right through behind the cab. He could literally just turn around. Like the radius was sick on that thing. You could just
Yeah.
turn like you were around a pole.
Well, that was
That
that
quad
car.
steer.
That truck was the best commercial at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because they recreated the whole, title video to The Sopranos,
Right,
and his
Right.
daughter was driving it,
right.
and she pulled up, and she was able to park
Right.
immediately at the restaurant that was in the
Right.
final scene, and
Hofstein's.
her brother was there and met her.
Right.
Yeah, it
But
was
think
unbelievable.
about-
That was the best commercial of the Super Bowl.
That's what they said. I'm just still thinking about like what this, the battery technology, the battery packs to power a truck like that. We're not like
Yeah.
someone. Well,
Well,
a Prius or a Civic.
They are, as you know, that's funny because last night there was a live video chat like this,
Uh-huh.
with a couple of guys that are like the 55 to 57, like Mafia or something like that. And Victor was on, Cagnazzi, talking about Project X and how they electrified that. And they got to talking about new vehicles and trucks and things like that. And it's your distance is based on weather, temperature, and load in the truck.
Right.
They'll give you say the thing could go 400 miles, but if you're somebody like me that's carrying a bunch of stuff, you're going to go 250.
And then accessories that you're using, the heat, the AC.
Right.
Well, that's going to be detracted too.
It's all contingent on what you're actually doing.
Right. Right.
So the technology is just not really fully there yet.
No, but they're pushing
I said
it.
I'll get a battery truck when I can do 25 to 3,000 miles.
Oh yeah.
Without having to charge it.
Yeah, that's
because
well, you're
not
gonna
going to see that in this
to live
lifetime.
70 years to do that.
Yeah,
I know that. That's why I won't have one.
I like the picture that they had. I think it was a Tesla. I don't know if it was a Tesla. I had to see if I could find the picture, but the guy sitting on the side of the road with a gas generator charging his car up.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a guy at work gave me a Popular Mechanics. I have it upstairs, and on the cover of Popular Mechanics, it's a guy who did a V8 conversion in a Tesla. I'm like,
Oh yeah,
he went the other way. So I'm thinking, boy, the whole architecture of that car isn't made for, for an engine transmission rear end combo. But this guy
that took a lot of work.
Yeah, more work than if you went the other way.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he had to do it. I guess he had to just say, eh.
But Victor says that, they could go back to a conventional motor transmission deal in Project X. Everything's made to unbolt right out of the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the architecture is there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had. I was in the shop and they had one of those new Mustang E. The
Mach-E.
and it was
funny.
Car, the Mach-E.
Yeah, and it was really funny because they had the hood open and the inner panel covering was gone. So, we're like the trunk space, and it was really kind of funny when you looked at it and say, once that was out, it was like, well, there's enough room to put a motor back in here. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of funny the way it looked without it, without anything up front like that, except all there was a steering rack,
Yeah,
but,
it's weird.
Well, for me to go to Suma is almost 1,000 miles, so a battery vehicle
take you 4 days.
Yes, as it is, it takes me 2, and that's because I have to sleep a little bit.
Right, it would take you 4 days to do it because you got to recharge.
Yes.
Just plug in an extra 9 volt.
Technology is it's in its infancy,
Yeah, but they're trying to push it like it's in its
prime
golden ages.
Yeah.
And really what they should be doing, since the way we generate power has not reached the point where you can say, okay, yeah, this is good. The grid is not good. There's a bunch of stuff that's not good. They really should not be pushing electric vehicles. They should be pushing hybrids.
Yeah.
Get your electric and have your little 4-cylinder gas motor that gets a gazillion miles a gallon, which could be used at the same time to recharge the batteries. So all you're doing is every once in a while you're putting gas in this thing. And it's got to be way more efficient than something that's just electric. And if they were really smart, they would put natural gas motors in these things.
That's not their agenda, though.
No, but their agenda is wrong. That's the problem. Their agenda is just not positioned properly.
Right.
You want to build something. You want to build something that's going to be low carbon. Do natural gas battery. Done. There's your hybrid. You got 2 sources of fuel: electric and natural gas.
Natural gas doesn't have much range because they experimented with us going out into the field with compressed natural gas.
Yeah.
And they had 2 big tanks in the back of our Suburban. in the compartment. Pissed us off because our attitude was, what happens if we have a crash? Those valves are going to come off and, toasted airmen. We didn't have a choice. It's the Air Force. You will do it.
Yeah.
But it could only make it out 120 miles on the natural gas. They had to go back on gasoline.
Yeah.
It was a big waste of
I'm not
money.
I'm not up on it. I would venture to say the technology's gotten better because here in Nassau County they run buses on natural gas. So,
but you got big ass tanks on those buses.
Yeah, the ones I've seen have huge tanks up in the roof.
Yeah, they're covered over and they run half the roof or more.
Yeah. So, but the technology probably has gotten better since
So, gas hybrids. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
It's just they're going about it the wrong way, and they're just trying to force you to buy this shit.
It's because politicians are driving the ship. That's why.
I guarantee you our governor's going about it the wrong way.
Your governor's just wrong.
Yeah, well, we will not argue that.
Yeah, well, your voting group seems to love him.
Oh, God, do they? And the trouble is, I figured it out. Most of us conservatives live out in the country in places like that.
Yeah.
The Democrats all live in the cities.
Sure.
They take a bus. They don't have to drive. What do they want a car for?
It's the same thing here. Manhattan is the liberal bloc.
Yeah.
That's where all the money is. And where we are out in the suburbs, things are different.
And they look at you funny because you drive a car.
Right.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, you go to Beverly Hills, everybody's got a car. Big dollar cars, too.
I just read in the paper today that in Beverly Hills, it might have been a Rodeo Drive, someone did a smash and grab.
Yeah. $5 million.
Right.
Yeah.
$5 million, and nobody did anything.
Let them go. And
here's the best part. Jewelry stores have ridiculous amounts of security. Every jewelry store I've ever been in, you got to get in. There's like a little entryway. You got to be buzzed in. So you got the door that's on the curb or the sidewalk. You go into a little entrance area, and then like the jewelry store that we do the aquarium in, you got your outside door. Okay. You cannot get through the inside door unless you get buzzed in. But even if you get buzzed, that door will not unlock until the outside door at the curb is shut and electronically locks.
The check cashing places have the same thing.
It's like a dual lock system in order to get in. And then if they don't want you to leave, the inside door will not open.
There's a name for that space.
It's like an interlock or something like that.
It's called a man trap.
Yeah.
And that's why. Because once you're in there and those doors are closed, you're trapped.
Yeah. So what they need is the jewelry stores out in Beverly Hills all need to be owned by New York people who would have all of that stuff along with a bunch of rifles and guns under the counter. So when the brothers decide they're going to come in and smash and grab, it's going to be, okay, you smashed my case. Boom. Oh, you're going to smash my case? Boom. So then there's 7 bodies laying on the floor, and then you calmly get on the phone and you dial 911 and say, send a meat wagon because I got a pile of shit here. You guys got to come clean up.
Did they say that it was I see. I thought it was.
No, it was outside.
I thought they broke the outside window.
They broke the outside windows, and that's all. Yeah, they broke all the windows.
Then you get shot through the window.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah, they weren't inside.
Stood back and let them go.
One.
That's all they do.
Oh, we can't stop them.
No.
We'll be violating their civil rights.
There was a thing in the news. Some guy was in I think it was like I don't know. It wasn't Dwayne Reed, but it was a pharmacy.
Oh, Dwayne Reed's getting hit like crazy.
Yeah. It was a pharmacy, and he saw this guy loading up a bag, just stealing stuff from the pharmacy.
Yeah.
And he started recording it on his phone, and everybody was standing around letting this guy do it. And when the dude came by, he tackled him.
Yeah.
He took him out, and they wound up outside on the sidewalk, and he was body slammed them, the whole deal. And he was holding him, and he yelled that he was making a citizen's arrest, and the guy was flipping out. And his accomplice comes out of the car and starts beating on this guy, and they wound up getting away.
Yeah.
And now the people that were in the store were like, well, you could get arrested for assault, and you shouldn't have got involved, and da-da-da-da-da. And the press made out this whole thing that this guy who was a good Samaritan was a bad guy for doing that.
Right.
And he was like, I'm fed up with this crap. There's no law anymore.
Right.
It's what you call training us to become sheep.
Yeah.
It's training to be sheep. I've seen that happen a lot. I shouldn't say I've seen it happen, but I've noticed they don't want you to do anything. Leave it up to the police. Why? Well, they don't want you to shoot a guy.
They're not allowed to do anything.
No, they're not.
Yeah, the security that's there is not allowed to do anything. It's like,
they're not allowed
why
to
do you
shoot
have
anybody.
What do you have security for then? Why do you need security if you can't do anything?
Security.
They're not allowed to apprehend these people. They're not allowed to hold them. They're not allowed to do anything. They just have to let them walk.
Now they started putting certain products behind locked plexiglass. Yeah. But I was reading something in the paper where a guy was calling out, like some of the things behind the plexiglass was stupid, and then other things were left out. So like there was no rhyme or reason, or I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we don't have this problem here in Florida. They're not going to put up with it, So they know if you're going to try and do that at a pharmacy or a store in Florida, you're going to get your ass handed to you, or you're going to get shot.
Yeah.
Done deal, Especially if it's in Polk County next door, where you got Grady Judd.
Right.
The dude will take you out for a steak dinner. You got a piece of crap off the streets.
Right.
I'm taking you to dinner. You're a hero. That's the kind of sheriff they have there. The guy's awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we don't have that problem here, but I see it on TV nightly. People's cars getting hijacked. I mean, there was I don't know where this was. There was an older woman. Three people, it was actually four, but three jumped her in the car and beat her up. She was like 78 years old.
Really?
And they pushed her out of the car, and she got stuck in the shoulder harness, and it tore her arm off.
Oh.
And then she passed away.
God.
It's unreal. But so there was some good video, and it turns out that the family members saw that it was their kids and turned them in.
Oh wow. Okay.
So they're all in jail, but it's the fact that this woman had to die so these idiots could mess with her car, which they found like 10 miles away from where the scene happened,
That's crazy.
That's nuts. That's the kind of stuff that, it's like Mad Max is really gonna happen.
Right.
And there's pieces of Mad Max are already happening now. The way people are just kind of psychotic and know that the law is on the criminal's side, not on the victim's side.
Yeah.
There's just too much of this stuff going on.
Right.
So, again, thankfully I live here.
Yeah.
Not a problem, because we'll shoot you.
Yeah.
We don't care.
That'll do
I
it.
don't know anything about it. Dead men tell no tales.
Right. Well, tired men do, and I think that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
So
take the trash out.
I was talking to
Take out the
Tori, and
trash.
he wanted me to remind everybody that Sam's Garage new season starts Saturday, April 2nd, 9 a.m. Eastern on Motor Trend, and you're going to see.
There you go.
He's been sending me some pictures of the builds. They are fantastic. Sam really works on some nice stuff.
Sam's a good guy.
Tori will come on with us. We'll get Sam on here too, but Tori will come on with us after he said let the season start, and then he'll be able to talk about, because he had to sign non-disclosure clauses and stuff, so he couldn't talk about it. So he was, after it starts, he'll come in and hang with us one night, and we'll have some fun.
Cool.
All right, who's got last words? Anybody? Justin got an invocation for us?
Oh, the thing that John says that Chris says that
Okay.
we're all saying.
Yeah, right. Now you can say.
And then everyone says.
Everybody can say it now, right?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I don't have any ham sandwiches upstairs. I'm at a loss tonight.
Who's got funny bones?
Nope, got none of those either.
No ring dings.
No, I wanted to go to 7-Eleven and get some cupcakes. The Drake's cupcakes.
Oh yeah. The cupcakes with the little
Cup of coffee
with the little
Yeah,
white
swirl.
swirl on the top.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Tonight was our we're still on the 24th was the wife's birthday, and
So you got some cake waiting for you?
well, the funny part was I went to go get an ice cream cake, so I went up to
Fudgy the Whale.
I went up to
Cookie Puss.
well, we don't have a Dairy Queen nearby to get a Blizzard cake thing, but we had gotten I went up to Dunkin' Donuts there because it's Baskin Robbins / Dunkin',
Yeah.
And I went in
They
and
got
looked
that-
at the cakes.
That log.
Yeah, well, I went in and looked at the ice cream cakes, and they had these. The new thing now is these. They're called. What are they called?
Ice cream cakes.
Well, they're ice cream, but they're shaped as a pizza,
Oh yeah.
Oh my
and
god.
it's got like a cookie dough. And I mean, it's got a cookie as the crust, and it has ice cream, and then it has these different toppings. And they had the cookie dough toppings
how
on it with
cool.
sprinkles. So I said, "Oh, I got to get that." So I got that, and I also got a regular ice cream cake, of course,
Oh,
Just in
boy.
case I don't like the
So-
pizza cake.
Yeah.
And of course, so I get, of course, I know the owners to this, and they saw me in the morning, and they were like, of course, there's a line out the door of everybody getting their coffee and on donuts and so forth. And I said, I need these two, put happy birthday, blah blah blah. And they said, yeah, no problem. I said, I'll be back later tonight to pick them up, So, and the wife really wanted Chinese, so I sent Brianna to go get Chinese. I went and got the cakes, and it was funny because I walked in with the pizza box, because it's in a pizza box,
Yeah.
And the
that's
wife
perfect.
goes, "What's that?" And I said, "Oh, I brought dinner home." And she said, "You brought home pizza?" And I said, "Yeah, I brought home pizza. Dinner time." And so they sit down, and I lay it down. She goes, "Why is my pizza cold?" And then she really, she's like, "Oh, wow." And it was this cookie dough cake, pizza thing. So
That's
So-
awesome.
went
So
over
is
well.
that at all of the Baskin Robbins?
yeah, Dunkin'
gotta
Donuts,
check-
Baskin
I gotta-
Robbins.
yeah.
Do they have pepperoni flavored ice cream?
No, they had they had chocolate, and then they have either a brownie, like a brown with a brownie crust, or a cookie crust, like a chocolate chip cookie.
I think it'd be too much of a mind fuck for me. Like I'd be seeing
I'll
pizza.
tell you one thing. I'm not a big ice cream eater, but man, it was
I am.
really good.
That sounds pretty
Go
good.
for a really nice brownie with like maybe some nuts inside it.
Oh,
Like a
shut up.
walnut brownie, right?
So
Big thick one.
Right.
I
With
got,
a nice cup of coffee.
glass of
So
milk.
on the way up out of the garage here, I had to walk by the freezer with the.
We know what's going up
but-
with you.
Grab
and
a
it's
slice.
funny because it's cut in slices like pizza.
Oh,
There you
perfect.
go.
So it's
Yeah.
cut in slices, and you pick that. And the wife was like, "We're not going to get any forks," and I'm like, "No, just picked up like a pizza and ate a little brain freeze at first."
Oh.
That ice cream hitting the top of your
Yeah.
top of your mouth there, with a
That's
little
all
brain
right.
freeze.
Your
but-
palate.
Uh-huh.
So that was my interesting find for the day. That was pretty
That's it.
good.
That
Grab
is
a slice on the way up tonight.
That's
worth the brain
so-
freeze.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah. Wow.
oh well.
Cool. All right.
Now that you guys got me hungry, thanks.
Yeah, well, at least you got the
Well,
stuff.
you
to
can
take
you
care
can
of it.
always go up in the kitchen and get some toast. Some nice bread. Throw it in the toaster oven. Get it going.
It won't
Get
be
out
the
the
first
cold
time.
cuts. Pull it out. Put a little dukes on there. Some nice ham. Some cheese. Some turkey. Salami.
Yep.
Not that big.
Layer it up.
And
Layer it up.
either that, or
Go-
I don't know
go
if I
grab
can
some
heat up the old China.
Doritos.
my wife during the week, she started taking, we had corned beef and cabbage the other day. So now she's cutting the corn. She got the George Foreman grill out. I'm like, what are you doing? She's throwing the corned beef in the George Foreman grill, heating it up, and then taking the bread, building the sandwich with the mustard, and throwing that in and pressing it like a panini almost.
Oh,
and it's coming out crusty. I'm like, wow, that's pretty
That's
nice.
a good idea too.
Yeah.
Get the Chinese food. Chinese food's good. A little pork fried
All right,
rice.
Pop Squirrel.
Yeah.
Little pepper steak. Little fortune cookie. Some wonton soup.
Whatever you like. Yeah, it's good stuff.
It is good stuff.
Yeah.
Dang it, now I'm hungry.
Now it's Justin's turn. Beautiful. All right, so listen, don't look for me on Sunday because we're doing this fundraising freaking thing now. So Rob is taking our hour on Sunday, and then next week we'll have 2 hours. So this week we won't be on the air.
Gonna run it like a regular show, accepting calls and stuff.
Yeah,
like
we
that.
do it the same way, except we got to keep putting in the fundraising stuff.
Right.
Call a different number. There's people outside who answer the phone, and actually, they do raise a fairly good amount of money. The people who listen to like public radio and college radio are very ardent fans, and they
Got to run it like the Jerry Lewis telethon.
That's what I said to Chris last week, and he went into a Jerry Lewis. He did it with Justin, right?
Gotta get the suit.
Only Chris could do that.
There you go.
He nailed it too.
And you do remotes. Let's go to Wisconsin.
Yeah, Peoria.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I got Sunday off. That's all I know. Next week we'll do 2 hours. That'll be that. So we'll get it over with.
It was funny when you were talking about your the cabin air filter. I cleaned that one's actually cleanable. It's a plastic mesh.
It looked like it, yeah.
And I do that monthly. I noticed a big difference. Of course, I almost run the air conditioning monthly. I mean, year round in mine. So
I did notice, and I've changed a bunch of them that were science projects. It would look like hemp. Even one of my Mazda was bad because it was hard to change. That was one of the early ones. It was hard to get at. It wasn't under a glove box. But all the other cars, I'll look at them and just change them once a year. It's not a big deal.
The last one
I gotta see where the one is in mine.
My wife had a Pontiac Vibe, which is like the Toyota stuff. It's right behind the glove box. And geez, if Pete pulled that sucker out, there were squirrels or something living.
Right.
I think acorns and leaves and stuff. It was just terrible. On a really nice car, honestly.
Yeah.
The car itself was nice.
I noticed. I noticed when I first got this truck, and I was like, man, this blower motor really sucks.
Right.
And so of course I started digging around, and of course they got this big panel, and you got to pop out the glove box and this panel, and it goes back. And I pulled that thing out, and it was like a dryer lint thing. I mean, it was just so caked.
The worst is when you pull it out and everything above it just falls on the floor, and you're like, oh crap!
And pulled that out, and I was like, man, I don't know where I want to find that. Then I realized it was the whole thing's like a plastic weaved.
Right.
Went in, ran it under the sink, cleaned it out, and man, it was like night and day. So it's pretty much once a month and a half type thing.
It really does make a big difference when it's from when it's clogged. You see it. Yeah. I saw it in my car. The AC was just colder. It was just better.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
So, but I was like, man, Ray's talking, and here I am. I'm doing it right now.
It was
everything
we're connecting.
Everything you're talking about, I've run into at least one point or another. The fasteners. That was the big thing. The clutch head screws.
Oh,
which I got a screwdriver.
Right. You said you did a Holly carburetor. So you don't want a 4160. That's the rear metering plate.
Yeah, we used to have those in a little kit we sold with the bits, and they used to have in there. And I used to get asked every time, "What the hell are those things for? What's that for?"
What's that funky looking clover looking weird thing?
Guessing you probably don't have it anymore.
Yeah, huh?
You guys have those bits anymore?
I can still get them, but like I said, they used to come in. We used to have like this 30 pack. It's very similar to Actually, is this an older one?
I think that last one I just got from you doesn't. Let me see. I don't think it's in there.
No, this one doesn't. But we had a 30 pack like this, and they used to have the 3 on there. And
because I asked the other tool guy yesterday when he stopped in, and nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can still get them because we had a guy. He had, I don't know what year.
The Matco kit.
Yeah, is that one have it? Because that one's black. No, that's the newer one. That's black.
It does not have it.
Yeah, the black one. That's the new kit.
And I got to tell you, the problem I have with this is trying to get these damn, especially the ones on the end, to try and get them out. What a pain in the ass.
Do you have on that case? Does that have the belt loop?
No, this was in that socket set.
Yeah, this used to come in. This came in the earlier socket set. This is really nice because you can put it on your. Yeah,
it came in that.
Yep.
And there it is.
Yeah.
Why I'm saving that, I don't know.
In case you got a warranty, because I'll ask you for the packaging and the boxing.
Right.
Yep.
It's to break something.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, but I had a guy. I can't remember what year. It was like 58 Chevy.
Yeah.
And he was doing something with the door striker. Or he was doing something with a door or something, and it had those clutch head screws on it.
I know at the very
big.
least.
Well, that's
they were
first,
huge.
That's where I first saw them. The parking brake lever that's under the dash on a 55 Chevy, and probably a 6, 7, and 8 uses 2 clutch head screws. I know the Holley carburetor is a number 5, so the clutch head for the brake handle must be like 8 or 10.
Yeah.
It's like a quarter 20 screw.
We got a 55 Chevy truck in the shop, and that's like all the bracing and the hood is all bolted in with those screws.
Right.
That's
Various panels and whatnot.
Right.
So,
hey, you know what? That week, I learned stuff that week. I went home like, holy shit, man! This Reed, that was it, the Reed print screw. I didn't know what a Reed print screw was. I had no idea.
I Googled that one.
And I'm saying, how did I miss that? With all the tools I've had all my life, and I had a lot of Craftsman stuff, and I know why. I never bought a set of Craftsman screwdrivers in the case because people sent me pictures of these Craftsman screwdrivers in the plastic case, and there was the Reed prints. I never bought them like that, so that's why I never had one. So
yeah,
good to know.
Yeah,
that's crazy stuff.
I learned stuff. It's every once in a while that happens. You actually come away with new knowledge.
You might learn something.
That's right.
Yeah,
you might learn something.
That's what I tell you.
Exactly right. I
gotta
tell you.
Listen to me. I drop these little pearls of wisdom.
The circles overlap all the time, and that's
like Valentine beer.
Right. That's like Valentine beer.
Yep.
That's the beauty of doing it. Yeah. Cool stuff.
All right, guys.
So for Lewis Lee and the rest of the crew, Ray Guarino, Justin from American Gas, Jossie John, and Matt Goman Brian, we're going to sign off, and we'll be back here next week doing the same thing. Hopefully. Good to see Brian's in a good mood. I like that. He had ice cream. He's in a good mood. I don't like seeing Brian in a bad mood.
He's going to go get something now, or he's going to make a Sammy.
Right.
Don't tell anybody.
All right.
Be our secret.
You know what you need? You need a sandwich.
Yeah, I need something.
Telling you.
All right, guys. Be safe. Watch out.
Let me end this.